Greetings to everybody out there. Hopefully you can all hear me. I see greetings from everybody around the United States and the world. 1 second as I try to pop out this chat so I can see what is being said. I'm Matthew Dwinkler. Hello. Happy Sunday. Happy April 10th, 2022. It's not 1912, everybody. It's 2022. Sorry. I gotta adjust one thing. Hello. And welcome again to this anniversary day of the beginning of Titanic's voyage. It is April 10th, like I said, here in the United States, and for some of the world, but it's still April 10th in France. And Titanic right now, 110 years ago, would be just about arriving in Cherbourg, France. So this is why we picked 2 p.m. Not really, actually. It's just a coincidence. I didn't realize it was going to be 8 p.m. In Cherbourg, France. So it was wonderful timing. So just 1 second, please. Sorry. Pardon as I see that. I want to pop up a few things, and I want to join Discord. Well, I'm actually in Discord, and we have a couple of friends with us, some of the researchers from THG, who's going to join me as we walk around Demo 401 and explore as if we were Titanic passengers and crew boarding the ship on April 10th. So that's what we're going to start with in just a moment. I hope you enjoy this. We're going to have 3 fun little giveaways during the course of this tour of Demo 401, this historical tour as we're going to call it. So you want to make sure to stick around for the giveaways. There's a first class, second class, and third class giveaways. They're all good stuff though. But yes, so without further ado, I'm going to, hopefully that doesn't cause any issues when I unmute that, I'm going to pop back into our Discord and bring in some of the gentlemen who are Titanic researchers, and one, you can see them, their names in the top. One of them, as I actually load up the demo, is Kyle. Kyle, you're there, right? Kyle Hudak. Watch him not be here. He's not here. He's not here. Oh wait, I'm using a gamepad for this, so it's gonna be nice and smooth. Not my usual. It's gonna be nice and smooth. It's nice and smooth. So, as if anyone's in Discord who can actually hear me and wants to say hi, so we have,
yes, hi.
hello, Robin. Here we have some of the THG research team who helps out with Demo 401, the alpha, the deck plans that we created. If you want to just quickly say hi, you guys, one at a time if you want to, while Kyle's muted, probably going to make himself a waffle or a burrito.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh,
hello, everyone.
Oh, there's Kyle. Yes. Okay, great. So yeah, I'm gonna get to where I want to start, and you guys can say hello if you want to say hello.
Everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
These, whoops, engine sounds. That's not where the gangway is. These guys have been ridiculously helpful in figuring out some of the finer details of Titanic, her design, her structure, all the smallest of elements. And for the rivet counters inside of us, it's both wonderful and annoying. As much as we want to get this ship accurate, it is an undertaking of love and still a struggle. So, welcome, guys.
I might as well say hello. Hello, my name is Ben Roden. I am a part-time researcher with THG and help out a little bit where I can. And really happy to be on the live stream. Thanks, Matt. If I move over to Matty, if you want to say hello.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Mate, and I'm actually from Finland. If my name seems a bit odd, but yeah, I'm a researcher as well, and happy to be in the stream.
Yes, same goes for me. My name is Robin, and no, I'm not Robin from Demo 3. And
That's true.
yeah, and I'm from Germany. I think you can hear it. And yeah, I'm also a researcher, and I'm also glad to be here.
It's great to have you guys here. Like I said, we wouldn't have all the upcoming details that I saw the other day and that we've seen throughout without you guys helping us. So, um, we have quite an international team, which is wonderful to say because Titanic is an international ship, and I want to that's my first segue into saying that right here on Titanic, as I adjust the volume of things. Sorry, let me turn down this music as much as we love that music. The very first area that we're going to explore. Imagine it's April 10th. Imagine it's before April 10th, and you're a crew member, and the majority of Titanic's crew came from the United Kingdom, of course, with the exception of a few um, waiters and staff for certain restaurants. But this is the area right here by this watertight door into this entrance to the reciprocating engine room, which is why you can hear this roaring of just general machinery in the background here. It's this gangway right here where a crew would enter the ship. This seemingly small, unceremonious entranceway, and crew would come in, and there would be a small setup around this area, probably around here, where a desk would be brought out and papers signed, etc. I believe there's a photograph of Olympic that's taken right around here of crew members waiting in line to get their papers sorted. The crew members would have their books, their little signing on papers in a book, and they would have when the ship departs with time and the commander, and they have to have it all signed by their the head of their department. And this is where they would have that book signed right in here. And so if you were a crew member on board Titanic, you were more than likely would board right here at this gangway right here. So this is E deck in Scotland Road, pretty far aft in Scotland Road, but a majority of passengers and crew, because third class will also board on E deck, board this low down on the space, so on the ship. So right here, the entrance to the engine room, and this waterhead door also leads down to the engineering staff quarters, is where the crew boards. And the crew, what is it, 800 and almost 900 crew members, I believe, is where you'd have the majority of the people aboard Titanic would begin their last days at sea for some of them, unfortunately. Now this, I'm going to be a parrot saying the same thing again and again. Oh, this is an area of Scotland Road which kind of has the new Scotland Road layouts and Scotland Road design versus the older Scotland Road, which is in the don't worry, Jake, thank you. We'll talk a little bit about 1.5 eventually, depending on how much Kyle feels he wants to be charitable. We'll get to that. We'll get to that eventually. But thank you, Jake, for that. We'll get to that. I don't want to get completely off tangent yet. So, this is the lovely Spartan part of the ship. And imagine that being your first impression. But that's just how it was. And if you work on a cruise ship today, this is my next segue, and if you're a crew member, you're not going to board the ship and see all the fabulous designs and artwork and sculptures that you would if you were a passenger. Now, we, as a matter of fact, have a member of the team working on a cruise ship right now. And so this would be kind of his point of view aboard his cruise ship. I'm not going to tell you where his cruise ship is, and I'm not going to tell you about um, which cruise line or whatever. But yeah, James, our creative director and community manager, is working on board a cruise ship right now. So he's on the high seas. I forget where he's sailing, but he is out on the ocean during Titanic week, which is, honestly, I'm a little jealous. And he's a performer. He's an actor and a singer and a dancer, and he would actually have the same type of view right here, because a lot of these larger cruise ships have a highway system that's like Scotland Road. Sorry if the demo is a little loud right now. But there's one large artery on these cruise ships, which is on one of the lower decks, and it leads to the bow and the stern of the ship, just like Scotland Road. I wonder if James can report back and tell us that there's anything like that on board his cruise ship, which we won't talk about. And I wouldn't be able to tell you because I've already forgotten which cruise ship it is. But yeah, so this is, Titanic is a beautiful ship, but it's still a unitary. It has to be form follows function, and that's why it's so kind of barren in places. And I know that Jake, for instance, really wants to see some of those new fantastic cabins, and there might be, well, there's at least one new cabin, I don't know, coming for an update. And we'll get to first class, but if any of the researchers want to talk about anything of the crew had to deal with when they boarded the ship, I know that I could talk about the story of I think it was Lightoller Wild, who wrote home to his family saying that the ship was very large and it was going to take him a long time to get used to wandering around and learning his way throughout this ship. Because I know Lightoller did not serve on Olympic prior, but did Wild?
Yes,
Did he?
Wild.
Wild?
Yeah, because
He's on that
shift
photograph.
happens.
Mhm.
Yeah, and because shift happens with Blair, because Wild came in from Olympic, I believe, and Blair, third officer, got kicked out. So Lightoller got second, Murdoch got first, and Wild was chief officer. And yeah, Wild was also the person who wrote the letter to his wife. No, not to his wife. To somebody that he isn't happy with the ship. Something is wrong. I don't know. There's this famous letter from
Oh,
Wild.
he had like an uneasy feeling, or just something was off? Something is queer or off about the ship, I think he said.
Not going to conspiracy theories, but I think he was the guy who was like, he's just got off the Olympic and it feels very strange and unusual. There's just something not right about this ship.
Right, we're not saying the sister ships were not switched. Sorry, as I wander around machinery spaces. I'm trying to. I can run. Whoop, we're gonna run. I'm gonna go down to the boiler room. But it's funny that we stress that we're not talking about conspiracy theories, guys. But there's always a chance that it's always a weird kind of thing when one of the officers or somebody states in a letter that, this ship is just a little odd. Just kind of, gives me a weird feeling. And I can't, we can't explain why that is. They don't, is it just because they don't like going onto a brand new ship, but they probably have been on brand new ships in their time, or what? I'm not a sailor. I couldn't tell you why going on a ship.
I mean, my explanation has always been that when people say it, it's like the stories about you have people who talk about having fears of the ship sinking when they get on before they get on Titanic, or waking up in the night and having nightmares about some disaster. Like, I bet that sort of stuff happens for every ship that's ever sailed, every time it's sailed in history. That you just hear about these stories because they're Titanic and it happened.
That could be true. There's for every bad feeling, there's nothing to back it up sometimes. You might sail on a ship and feel a bump and think, well, what the heck is all that going on? This is the end, but it's
Yeah,
nothing.
I mean, you ever get on a plane and you're like, what if this crashed? That would really suck. But every once in a while, you know, uh,
Very
yeah.
seldom, very seldomly, very seldomly.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean that Titanic was cursed with a mummy or anything like that.
Oh no, don't. Let's not go into that. I'd also like to just point out as well. You're currently in the boiler rooms, and I just want to. I love how glimmering and sparkling they are. 'Cause, I remember in Walter Lord's book, he mentions how they said that they used to slug out their guts, the workers, trying to get these engines to work. But on the Titanic, because they were so new, they could just sit back and they just enjoy their time whilst I don't know, just getting on with stuff down there. It was just a lovely little tidbit I just wanted to add in there.
It does. There's been weird complaints about our Titanic looking. The things I read that stick in my mind like once or twice are things like oh, it looks too clean, or someone complains about it looking um, too dirty. And I'm like, what? I don't understand how it can be both from two different people and different perspectives. But I imagine that like right here, like you'd imagine a boiler room, James Cameron's boiler room, for instance. It looked like one of the very first realms of hell, and I guess that's something he was trying to get across. It was very dark and steamy and atmospheric, and yet even ours is a little dark. And I've seen some updates. I believe I've posted updates on Facebook proper, so it's not too much of a spoiler. That where the room is going to be a little bit brighter now, just for the sake of it. Um, and yeah,
Yeah,
They've
yeah. Go
probably
ahead.
seen the new fireman's tunnel too. I realized we haven't updated Twitter in a while, so I just posted some of those pictures today.
But yeah, what I wanted to say is that you have to remember that the ship is a brand new ship, so there wouldn't be so much dirt everywhere.
right, because these ships, oh, can't go anywhere here. It's too dark. It's too. I'm in the. You guys have a delay. I'm sorry, but I'm in the end of the tunnel at where the
Can't go there yet.
can't get there yet. But yeah, but ships get dirty pretty fast, and that's why they're in the upkeep on ships is rather important. So that's why there's always layers and layers of paint and constant painting, and and that's why I kind of disagree with this texture that looks like it's gone through World War One. It's a steel texture right here, and it's got like scrapes and scratches, and it looks like what's going on. Sorry,
I mean,
I'm not trying.
it's not as bad as Adventure at a Time
Oh
in
no,
the room.
Matt, look, there's a bit missing around the bolts around the watertight door. This is why the ship sank. Right
Oh, this
above
is why the
that.
ship sank, everybody. This is why the disaster happened.
The end. You can go home now, folks. Live long and enjoy your life.
Yep,
No.
this is it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to read the chat now. I have it on OBS and I can't see. I should put the chat on the screen, I guess. But there's a bunch of questions going on. I'm sorry. I'll try to monitor those simultaneously as I walk around aimlessly. So and we won't just answer history questions. We'll try to answer the usual gamey questions that we get to, and where we're located too. Right now this isn't a game. This is just a demo of our always in progress game that we're trying to create, a labor of love from a small group of individuals from around the world to recreate Titanic. If you're tuning in from uh, random YouTube world. And so this is just whoops, am I walking into a paint bucket? I'm getting angry. Why can't I cross right there? Is there a mystery paint bucket here? I can't get over this space. And usually in demo 3 there were paint buckets here to block the path on the catwalks, and I can't move. But there's no paint bucket here. I'm perturbed now. But so I'm gonna walk around. But yeah, the main objective now is to explore Titanic and learn about Titanic, and which you can do by downloading our demo from our website, which I will get in the chat in a second, as soon as I find a nice perspective while I go to my clipboard. So Kyle, while I do that, will you just tell them a little bit about what you've adjusted for, for the update for demo 401 a bit? For this space anyway, if you can do that. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I guess it's a big secret.
I guess it's a huge secret now.
We will never know.
I guess we'll never know any of. Oh, I can just do it like this. I don't have to put my. Oh, nice. I guess we'll never know what Kyle has changed for.
You have to find out by yourself.
You're gonna have to
Go
wait.
looking.
We're never gonna have.
Right.
Yeah, Kyle's going to take that secret to his grave. He's going to
Like National Treasures. You have
Yes.
to go buy the blueprints and search over them, and then compare it to the demo. Good luck.
This is
with
why it
Nicolas
takes.
Cage.
This is why it takes so long for us to update anything. It's because I can't even get information out of Kyle.
Oh dear.
So yeah, this is the crew area that there wouldn't not often do crew go up here. I would say, I don't know. I mean, this is behind this. There's a door here which we've closed, but this is an inspection area for the funnel casing itself. It leads into the uptake, and you can actually go around the oval shaped uptake and see inside. That's interesting to one day see. And there, that leads to the top of the boiler casing itself. There are some water tanks, or the boilers, or water tanks, I forget which ones they are, and I'm the one who made the plans. But that's the very top of the fiddly trunk. There's the fiddly grates right there. And indeed, all this is impressive, and it never gets old to me seeing the intricate details of the background of Titanic, as I call it, the things behind the woodwork, which is what we're looking at right now. And so I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to go to third class area to talk about the third class passengers boarding the ship, because I believe they just had one options. Could you hear the water from the vent thing right away? That water boiler, I imagine it's a water tank for hot water. I should know. I have my plans, but I don't even know. So yeah, you hear it when it would be draining some water and filling water in. It holds a certain amount of water at a time, and so imagine your water boiler in your home here in the United States. That we usually stick those in the garage, so you'd somewhat hear it. You wouldn't hear it like going gurgle, 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 or anything like that. Now, please excuse me if I lose my voice once or twice, because for the second time in less than half a year, I just got over COVID. So I also want to tell everyone to go get vaccinated. But yeah. What are my PC specs to run this demo so well? I don't know. I knew I needed a new wait, third class didn't board from here, did they? They boarded from the ass. No, yeah, I'm going in the wrong direction. I knew that my graphics card died during the late last year, or early winter last year, I believe, and unfortunately, it's you know how difficult it still is to find a graphics card alone that's cheap. So what I did instead is I usually build my own computers. I'm actually decent at doing that, and I like to recycle parts back and forth. But this time I decided to just buy a new computer out of the box, a pre-built thing, and I could probably just post my specs somewhere of that build of that purchase computer. It's nothing. It has a 3080, I think, but I did stick in some of my old RAM, so I have a lot of RAM in it too. So How many gangway doors did third-class passengers have to board? Well, that's what I'm going to discuss right about now.
I thought it was 2.
I think it's 2, but I want to talk about this one first. Whoops, I'm in second class.
Ooh.
This one first. This one's the most important one.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the aft gangway door for third class.
I will not correct you, because you're right.
Aha!
Did you know, Matt? Did you know that there was a special door on Titanic where they loaded in the mail, and that's also where they stuffed in the third-class passengers?
I'm glad I don't have my camera running.
I remember that was that. You remember that video? That guy that was doing the presentation at a museum, and it was just that, along with some other weird stuff. Like if you were a first-class passenger, you could just have your paneling changed. Why not?
What?
Oh, well, I try not to. I fully endorse people who love Titanic, who wish to tell others of Titanic's story, and it gets difficult when they tell nonsense and ridiculous factoids, which are completely just over the moon like that. Is this the one where? And I really don't want to just spend time bashing Titanic attractions and places for being not accurate. That's what the entire internet is for. But there was one Titanic attraction. I don't think you were there, Kyle, but they talked about how the reason why Titanic did not have enough lifeboats is because first class needed to have additional golden grand pianos.
What?
And this was at one of the Titanic attractions here in the United States.
Oh, thank God.
And
Piano's okay.
oh, don't say oh thank God, because I've heard some great things at the ones in the UK. Not Belfast. Belfast
be
is pretty
quiet.
good.
It's kind of funny.
So
because
that's why Northern Ireland broke off, because they got the right Titanic facts, it seems. But
I had this friend in Las Vegas who she would regularly go to, because she's a huge Titanic fanatic, and would regularly go to the exhibit there, which I guess is permanent. I don't understand it. The one in the pyramid.
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
And,
so was the one in Orlando. It's permanent.
and would just occasionally argue with the people there about dumb facts they had.
See, I know that there are some Titanic people who actually go into and wish to work at these exhibits, which is great. Go ahead, it's awesome. But usually the average person who works there doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
So don't go to any of these exhibits and be like, why is this wrong? Why is it like this? And try to be confrontational with them. I don't recommend that. Don't try to show them off.
No.
The first time I went to this is going to be the end of the story time. The first time I went to the one in Orlando before I moved there for university, the tour guide was very knowledgeable, and he tried to trick he really was. I'm not being facetious. He tried to trick the tour group by saying Titanic was a yard number 400. 401. Olympic was yard number 400. What do you think Britannic's yard number was? And everyone there thought, oh, 402, 402. And then here I am, being the cocky Titanic fanatic I am. I said 433, and then he turned, looked at me, and said, "Uh-oh, we've got one of those on the tour." And I was like,
and at the end of the day, some people don't know as much. Everyone's got a passion for Titanic, and it can be annoying when there are some non-facts floating around. But, just be nice to people at exhibits and stuff. And I vaguely recall that one of the Titanic attractions we went to, they kind of had this policy of, hey, if you hear something you don't agree with, just come to one of us or something, and don't just accost them in the middle
Exactly.
of the tour or something.
Yeah. because that's their job for one, and you know, they're doing the best they can. They're there, and usually they're there to somewhat entertain us. I know that the last time I went to the one in Orlando, they got rid of the tour guides because you now walk around and just look at the artifacts. That was pre-artifacts. So yeah, those museums are there for those attractions and museums are there for us to enjoy, and we should be grateful that there are so many Titanic locations besides just the um, historical sites.
And no fewer than 4 in the United States alone. Probably
It's
more than that.
right, but
5 soon.
it's true.
I just like to point out as well, we're not trashing them. They're all lovely and wonderful in their own ways. And if you'd like
Indeed.
to go and visit one, then feel free. We're not telling you not to go or anything. Feel free to do whatever you feel,
Exactly.
but not in any. Anyway,
Right. Here is one of the few spaces that is actually included in James Cameron's movie. Very briefly,
Ooh.
very briefly, this actually is. And I never even thought that until we made it. But when Jack and Fabrizio runs up and he says like, I don't have lice, I'm American, because we're all so clean over here, and he runs through these doors, and then there's like the camera shows a crew member taking, I guess, like the details of some passengers in the background, showing like, uh-oh, Jack didn't give his name and registration and date of birth or whatever to the purser in the background right here. So so that's why he's on the passenger list. This is that little space where Jack boarded the ship. So this is the third class entrance for a lot of the passengers. I guess you could say this is like the family, all the single ladies entrance for third class passengers. That's why you have benches lined up around here. I've strewn
Yeah.
these benches around the ship in a couple other places too.
Yeah, I remember that's the scene, but I think in the movie they actually have some kind of wood panel.
Oh yeah, they make
Yes,
it. They
yeah.
make it. They
Yeah, they've really pushed it up.
they've Titanic the entire ship in places. That's the other thing is we our desire of that to make Titanic greater than she was. Um, like I said before, the Titanic is more or less this all over the place, which is just bare steel walls.
Yes.
It's
It's like
actually
you-
kind of it's actually kind of shocking how boring Titanic is when you really every time I research something about it, it just ends up being more boring than
Boring.
you
Look
thought.
at how beautiful this second class is. Oh, but yeah.
Wait, Derek writes that Mathe is very quiet, and so you perhaps making it a bit louder in Discord. And the topic of the of research, the best example is on the other side of the second class staircase, because it's true. As far you research Titanic, the uglier the ship gets. You can see it right there in the back, because that's some new discovery we had last year, at the end of last year, and it's thankfully made it in the demo. Before the discovery, this entrance was paneled completely, I believe, but now it's
Yeah.
very plain.
Yeah, it's on the other side, the second class entrance that he's talking about.
Yep, you'll see it in a second. Now, there's a delay, unfortunately, but yeah.
Oh, boring.
And these guys are turned up all the way, so hopefully that you can hear them now. And yeah, you go through. This is just how the world of the end of the Gilded Age was. If anyone just watched the HBO drama and you saw the first season anyway, you saw all the wonderful ornate areas of their mansions and such. You expect life to look like that, but for the average person, it was not like that. You would get wood paneling, but then right next door to that wood paneling, there's steel walls and pipes exposed, and that's what you see throughout Titanic. And even in first class, you'll see when we get there, you see pipes in cabins, and it's very difficult to explain that to people on Facebook, saying like, this is a first class cabin, and they say that can't be a first class cabin. There's pipes and insulation, and the ceiling is steel with rivets, and there's structural beams and light fixtures that just don't look first class. You gotta take off your 2020 or 2022 mindset glasses. Sorry, I don't know what 2020 is a vision type, and think back to 1912 or 1911. So yeah, third class boarded the ship in two areas, forward and aft. This is the more interesting of the spaces, I say, because because you're also really close and adjacent to the potato room, right through this Bostwick gate right here. So, um, if you are feeling hungry, just break down that gate and you can get all the potatoes you ever want. But yeah, third class heads that way, and let's run to that forward part of the ship. All right, someone time me.
3, 2, 1, go.
No, I meant like, okay, well, I already
Oh.
started, but I mean,
Oh, it's too late now.
I meant like
No.
time me as in start, like
Oh.
1, 2. It's too late. It's over.
I'm not even timing you at this point. It's stopped working.
How many potatoes there's a bunch of potatoes in demo 401, isn't that correct? Like just scattered throughout Sasha Browse would have so much fun. There's so many potatoes scattered throughout the entire ship as just an Easter egg. I guess it's an Easter potato. And I don't know if I can. I might. I saw Derek pop up in the chat saying a few things. Can he tell us like where one of the hardest potatoes are hidden finally?
I have to be honest. I didn't knew about the potatoes around the ship, so this is a complete new information for me.
You've
I'm
never
a
seen
little
any
bit-
of the potatoes, Rob?
No, I never saw any.
I'd also back Robin up. I've never seen any of the potatoes.
You've never
around the
seen
ship.
any of the potatoes? All right, we gotta stop everything we're doing and find a potato. I gotta find a potato. Okay, so
There's the two hardest potatoes, and I'll just sorry, Derek, if
no,
you're
I don't.
listening.
Okay,
but,
well, yeah, okay, yeah. Is there?
but I'm not gonna say exactly where they are. I'll just say which rooms they're in.
I'm going to the third class dining room. Is there one in there?
Oh, Derek's already said Turkish baths.
Oh, Turkish
hidden in
bath.
the
Oh, I
rubber.
know where that one is. Kyle had to show it to me, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, no one's
Oh,
ever.
yeah, I was gonna mention the Turkish bath one. It's somewhere in there. You'll never find it unless you have some idea of where to look.
No one was ever gonna find it. This is so mean. I mean, like we've been mean before, but this is legitimately mean.
There's also one in the Marconi room, and it's actually shockingly easy to find, but it's also shockingly difficult.
Okay, so there is a potato here. You can't see it yet, but you'll see it in a second. I might have to change some of the settings, right? The visual settings to see it.
There is no engine room.
Not yet.
Titanic didn't.
Oh,
do
I'm sorry.
engines.
Someone asking for the engine room?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I have to change to see this potato? I have to go over here. I have to look over here, right?
Kinda. Yeah,
You're in the delay. I'm sorry. Okay. And let me adjust this. Let me this what is the thing I do? Display graphics. Okay.
Use your mouse wheel. Zoom in. You can
Oh,
zoom
I
in
can
with
do
your
that?
mouse.
Okay, yeah.
Just get out of the menu. Use your mouse wheel. Oh, you're on a delay, but yeah.
Where is that
So-
potato?
Yes, mouse wheel. That's a cool feature. You can.
Potato.
I
Oh.
still can't see.
Oh,
Hold on. Oh,
It's in the one further down.
I got
though,
it. There it
so-
is. You'll see it in a second. Potato.
oh my God!
Okay, I didn't even knew that potatoes are in the demo. So okay, that's mind blowing right now.
Potato sank the Titanic. There it is. God.
Do you see that potato just sitting there? That's one potato. Add it to the inventory.
1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato. Find the potatoes.
So yeah, you can see there's no potato here, but there is a potato here. It's that little lumpy potato. And that's why everybody's computer melts, because those potatoes have over 1 million triangles. I think I'm zoomed in too much. How do I know when I'm... Okay. Okay, there we go. Well, that potato is tough to find, to say the least. There are some other potatoes which are easier. Well, I think there's one in the palm court which is just right there on the floor, like a dog dropped it. And, oh, I apologize. I don't mean like a dog dropped it like a... I mean like a dog had it in its mouth and dropped it. Um, okay, the Marconi room one. Okay, oops, sorry. Let me find that one. Totally not where I thought I was going to go with this, but okay, let's run up
No,
the stairs.
I thought we were going to be going around looking at the different parts where classes came in, but no, potato.
Potatoes have
people.
priority. Okay.
Potatoes rule the world. Of course, we can't go around the ship without mentioning the lovely spaces, such as the reception room. I know this is going to be behind for you, Matt, so no worries.
Don't worry, I'm on C deck. Now I'm going to B deck.
Yeah.
There's
Beautiful designed ships from Holland and Wolf.
going up the grand
I just
staircase.
really love the new lighting here, especially on C deck.
C deck looks especially nice. Whoopsie, now I'm zoomed in too far much to make it stutter. Oh yeah, I'm
I
looking.
bet
I'm
the
looking
potatoes
aft.
are more security.
If there were no potatoes, then the lounge would actually load for some
What?
people. Yay!
Inventory.
Okay. I'm going into the door. I'm gonna go into the Marconi room. And I'm in the Marconi room. Okay, I found this potato without the help of Kyle.
Oh, doors opening. Oh wow, that's bright now.
Okay, I'm gonna pause right here, and I want you guys to guess where the potato is. I am using a controller. Yes, sorry, I'm using a controller for this one. I want it to be a little bit smoother than my usual chaos, which is that. Sorry. So there is a potato somewhere here.
Hold on, let me get the stream up on my laptop.
This is very important stuff.
I mean, potatoes can make electricity, so that would be my guess, but I have no idea.
Oh, I think we have a winner. This isn't one of the contest. It could be, but I have better questions. But yeah, maybe they already know. Yeah, people knew where it was. I think.
I can't see it. Am I the only one who can't see it? I'm even looking at a bigger version of it now.
It's difficult to tell, but there is a potato
Oh,
shoved
Oh my
up
gosh.
the pneumatic tube.
that's evil because
mean. That's mean.
I mean, what kind of madman would do that?
Derek. Sorry.
He put it in the pneumatic tube opening.
That's why they've not been going anywhere with the.
Yes. So Ooh, am I standing on? Oh, I thought it was.
No, but you just zoomed in.
The crew in the purser's office is going to get a lovely surprise.
Just put a knife in the end of it. It might get chips.
It's a new form of slicer. You just stick one potato into the pneumatic tube. It just travels the entire distance of between boat deck to sea deck, and at the other end it goes right through the Jillian slicer like
Might
that.
take a few days though. Just.
So those are the potatoes. Those are some of the potatoes. It's shoved up the This is the two hardest ones. This is one of the other hardest one besides the one in the Turkish bath. It's shoved up the end. That was weird to say. The tube to in the Marconi room to the this is a pneumatic tube which sent messages via a you write the message, you put it in a little tube itself, a little contraption thing. I don't know what that thing is called actually. You can see them right there. You would shove these little cylinders into the tube itself, and then through suction, the message would be sent all the way down to C deck to the inquiry office, and other messages would be sent from the inquiry office on C deck, presumably of passengers, wireless messages which they paid to be sent out and dropped off in this basket right here. But instead, I will. But
Matt,
instead,
Derek wants to show
yeah,
you the one in the.
in the
Yeah. Yeah.
instead we shove potatoes in there. So there's another one in here, which I believe I had found it after Kyle told me to look for it. But I'm probably gonna need help again because this one didn't.
This one is so obvious you don't even know where to look.
Yeah, this one
Just-
oh yeah, I found it.
Who you
Potato.
just.
I'm gonna put down my controller and I'm gonna let everyone find the potato.
Okay, okay, that's I see it.
You see
I really
potato?
don't.
Yeah.
I see potato. I see potato.
Titanic is a very serious subject.
I love what who said it? Goldie Bell said in the chat. Just said I've never wanted to see a potato more in my life. No, neither have I.
Yes. And how many potatoes are there total? I mean, there's 40 tons of potatoes, but how many potatoes are there in the THG demo 401?
If there's not 40,
20
I won't be happy.
25, I
25.
believe.
25 darn potatoes. Okay.
You
I
only
don't
needed 15 more.
I don't recommend eating this potato. It's probably rather greasy, because it's right next to this gigantic drum, which has wire rope around it, which is covered in oil and grease for the lifts for first class. So there will be 25 more. Oh my gosh, this is why it's taking us so long. Derek has to find 25 more spaces to hide potatoes. But yeah, gosh,
I only need 50, and then it puts it up to the 40.
Oh.
As in for the 40 tons.
Lord Almighty, it's ridiculous. I guess I'm gonna stick
by the
with
way,
crew for a bit.
one quick thing is who modeled these who modeled the elevator lift engines?
Yeah, we should talk a bit about different who's modeled what as we've gone about. These lift
Yeah, 'cause-
engines were modeled by our model and researcher Chris Daly in Australia. He's not happy with them, as nobody ever is with anything they've ever modeled and finished for the game, even though they look awesome. But you know, the crux of THG is we quote unquote finish something and then we find something new to fix it after the fact with research materials. So if you're I'm not trying to put anyone down, but if you're if you're not up to date with the latest in way good elevator motors and machineries, you would think that these are 100% perfect and fabulous. But if you research them, you would see that there's little things here and there that need fixing. So especially right here, I don't, this looks like this is not what this represents the motor for the pneumatic tube, which you saw jammed, shoved, stuck with a potato. But since then, we've found examples of what a pneumatic tube motor from around that age would look like, and it wouldn't just be a box. I don't know. I remember I just made up. Did you make it just a box, Kyle? Or did I just represent it as a box? Someone represented it as a box, and that's why it's a.
Yeah, that was just me.
Yeah.
I was lazy and couldn't be bothered to figure out what it looked like.
Yeah, it's a whole thing with a motor and like a second motor and something else. So yeah.
The motor is kind of separate from the actual
Yeah.
pump.
It reminds me of something like from the Marconi room, somewhat. So yeah.
Yep.
So this space needs to be a little bit adjusted as well. So indeed, Derek, you have a lot ahead of you because Cody just said, there was 75,000 pounds of meat, 11,000 pounds of fresh fish, 40 tons of potatoes, 40,000 eggs, 7,000 heads of fresh lettuce. You have so many things you can hide on the ship.
Wait. Did you say 40 tons?
40 tons of potatoes.
40 times 10.
Yes.
40 tons of potatoes.
Yes, I believe that's yes.
Yes.
I'm sure that I believe that's correct too. Yeah, 40
Oh,
tons, and it's the
possible.
British
How many-
tons too, with TONNES on top of that. So,
How
it must
how
be.
many tons of potatoes can a ship of people possibly eat in 1 week?
40 tons.
Well, there are a lot of Irish on board.
Don't say that!
I'm Irish. I can say that. Okay.
Okay, true. My girlfriend's Irish. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Half Irish.
Yes. Derek's gonna start hiding fish. Okay, I guess we're in the mafia. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get back down to the topic at hand, which is boarding the ship.
Well, we're in
As
first class now, so we might as well carry on with first
I
class.
guess we'll cover. Wait, which side of the ship am I on? That's the. This
You're
is
on
the. This is
the-
the. This is it. This is right here. This is port. This is port.
I can't tell where you
Oh,
are.
wait a minute.
Yeah, now you're on port. Yeah, you're on port.
Hey, where are the things? Where are the gates?
Yeah. There should be like some.
Where's the gates?
Where's
Iron
the
gate.
gates? This is why the ship sank. I'm gonna have to run over to the other side and see if the gates are there.
Do it quick, quick, before they notice.
Ah,
Everyone, stop
There-
looking at your screens.
There also should be some slope platforms under the doors.
there should be a lot of things there. I also think there should be a life preserver
Oh.
and a
Oh, they're not there.
telephone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
The demos has not the most actual research in it. It's basically the old models.
It's fine. It's fine, everybody. It's okay.
yeah, it's
It's okay.
For them it's okay. Yeah.
I blame myself always. So yes. So here is one of the most famous photographs of Titanic was taken by Francis Brown before he became Father Brown, which is why I'm calling him Francis Brown. And while he was boarding Titanic in Southampton, go to D deck. Are we doing more potatoes? I'll go to D deck after
No,
this.
no, he means the gates. No, Derek, you've already. Don't worry,
Yes,
Derek.
those are no. These are what should be here are like protective like jail bars, I'll call them, in front of each of the gangway doors, which come down.
I think we have them on the lower decks.
We did. We
so
saw
if you
them.
go down to
Yeah, we saw
They
them
are there.
earlier.
them.
So it's not the end of the world. It's not a big thing. Don't worry. This is a very lackluster space, of course.
What you were saying though there, that famous picture from Father Brown Francis Brown as he was approaching from the boarding towers in Southampton, and then you get into this lovely section here, which
This is
absolutely
mhm.
beautiful.
This is where he would, yes, Francis Brown was boarding the ship right here up past those boarding towers in Southampton, which Ben mentioned, which are so famous. I think they're the most, they stand out the most in the Southampton photographs. Those two rolling boarding towers. And
It's such a shame they're gone.
is this where Francis Brown took the photo of?
Yeah,
Was
from
it-
the side
Yeah.
of the ship, yes, yeah.
It was outside the ship, but yes.
Oh, I mean, sorry. He did not take a photograph of this private promenade,
No.
did he? No.
No, that was
This
Other
is
side,
this is
no.
Ismay's private promenade. Yes. He then that means Francis Brown. We should like go around and see where Francis Brown took photographs, because that's gonna be one of my questions. For a giveaway.
Actually, the thing about this small piece of promenade, this is really a remnant from Olympic, which of course had a separate promenade on the B deck. And what basically happened with Titanic is that they extended most of the cabins, but this small space became the sporting entrance, and that's why it still looks kind of like a promenade, basically.
It looks like this exterior space exactly, and it's just to be utilized for coming and going from Southampton and New York when the ship was docking. So there's not much to do here. Once the passengers came on the ship and left the ship, the space was probably closed off completely, and maybe stewards could store something here. I was told once before. So there's not much in here, but this is where the majority of first class passengers would board the ship. They wouldn't necessarily board the ship down here. I'm going to walk down to D deck, where the other gates are.
Right. Much personally I believe nicer gates.
They are much nicer gates. Those gates would
Much-
come into play when the ship was tendering, when there were tenders along the ship.
That, and also it's worth mentioning during the sinking were ordered open by Lightoller and potentially caused quite a considerable list to port.
This is where I'm going right now. I think I'm on the port side. Yes. So
Yes.
these are
There they are. There's the black gates.
these are the black gates. So right now, what time? What time? It is 9 p.m.
It is, yep, just coming up to 9
9 p.m.
in France.
in France, in Cherbourg, France, and Nomadic, the last remaining White Star Line ship, was had tendered alongside Titanic's port side, and the first class passengers would have been entering Titanic. I believe on one of these two gates. One gate would be for excuse me. One gate would bring up luggage. One side would bring up passengers, more or less. And here we would have this is the gate which no, I'm sorry. This is the gate which was open during the sinking. This is the gangway door which has now been recovered and is on display in Las Vegas. And unlike what you see here, after when I talked about when Kyle brought up what Chris did in the space for the machinery for the first class elevators, after the fact that we got these gates in the demos, etc., and added hinges, which is why there's fake hinges. These gates, I noticed, were not hinged gates. They're sliding gates. They slid open into the paneling behind. They're they're somewhat like pocket doors, and that's why one of these gates right here is open on the wreck and it's missing, quote unquote missing, but in actuality, this one right here was unlocked probably by the crew preparing to open up this shell door, and while the ship was sinking and heading down towards the bottom of the sea, the bow aimed down, it just slid open and is hidden behind the paneling. So these are sliding gates.
Interestingly, I was reading through the Britannic spec book, and I'm pretty sure it says that these gates are also sliding, at least on Britannic.
I think that was my next
Uh,
like bit of evidence for it.
I think that was the original thing that kind of caught our attention.
Yeah.
But there's actually, it's not totally, guesswork to have them hinge because Olympic always has them like regular doors on the
Oh.
GA plans. But I think there's a reason to believe that Olympics doors were totally different.
Yeah, these sister ships weren't always the same, which makes it more difficult to switch them. And on Olympic, these are areas which there's one photograph of this space and it doesn't show anything besides just a wall and a electrical distribution box with fuses. It doesn't show anything like the gates that we're talking about, so we can't tell with 100% accuracy if Olympic had the same gates or doors as Titanic did. Like, while on the plans, Olympic's gates are hinged, like Mate was saying.
Yeah.
So research is fun. Where do you find the spec books for these ships? You can find the Olympic specification book. I believe you can get it through the Titanic Historical Society somehow, because a lot of those copies I have are stamped as such. But they are difficult to obtain personally. They're the Britannic specification book is sometimes difficult to read and is oddly treasured amongst researchers. So that is the hardest one to get.
Yeah, I guess nowadays it's a bit more common, but like 2 years ago, it was really a treasure.
It was, yes.
But unlike You know, some people may think a lot of this stuff, or I should say, like most of the stuff we use as reference are actually from archives, and basically anybody can acquire them if
Mm-hmm.
they wish to.
The majority of can't go in there. All those doors are wet. But the majority of the material that we use and look at, yeah, we can find in libraries, not like your local library, but like college library, libraries from all over the United Kingdom mostly, and that have the collections of the shipbuilders, etc. So we try to use the source material as much as possible. Um, I I have like my own like flow of what I believe is like has like the highest form of what can be considered tier one uh, research material versus like this has to be taken with a grain of salt guesswork. Um, and but once we put that all together, yeah, this is most likely the closest we will come to be seeing the Titanic as she was. We don't want to put in something that just looks nice for the sake of how we feel Titanic should be. Um,
It's
if
very much what like the Cameron film did. It was like
Yeah,
they put together things of, oh yeah, the Titanic might have looked like this, so here you go, enjoy. But no, THG's representation is literally as close, potentially as close as you might get to what the ship looked like.
yeah, and
Yeah,
not
we
to
have nothing
and not
really
to
designed.
diss the Cameron film.
Oh
Um,
no, gosh no.
yeah, I'm not saying you were either, Ben, but like that's back in 1996 and 1997 when I'm just spinning around. Speaking of the Cameron film, this is where they would dance. This is where they were
Ooh.
dancing in the Cameron film.
I think if they had a real dance party on those hatches, they would be dropping down
Dead.
pretty soon.
I have to
Yeah.
I have to
Oh,
I have to
you know,
somewhat disagree because I
wait,
didn't find it, but I saw it shared on Facebook in in the Leviathan group. I saw a picture of a band playing in their third class open space or whatever on a hatch, and there were
Oh,
people on the hatch, and I was like,
yeah.
I'll be. The quote rose,
The thing
sorry,
is,
I'll be goddamned. So yeah,
but the thing is, like these, and I might actually stick this as a tiny little update in for 1.5 because it's so cool. But these hatches shouldn't be solid wood panels. They should be open wood gratings
are
that
these the
you can see
graded
through.
ones? I don't even remember.
Yeah, they're graded. Yeah, they're wood gratings, so you can see down into the Scotland Road area below.
Oh, is
going
that?
back to your point. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna run down the Scotland Road, but yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Going back to your point you were saying, Matt, about the '97 film. I mean, I was only thinking it this morning, but like where we've come with our thoughts for the sinking and how the sinking progressed, and whereas back in 96, 97, and how they thought there was no list, the ship just went straight down, it broke in two where it did. We've come so far in the last 20 or 30 odd years. It's just been like you can't really compare it anymore because that was how we thought of things then. I mean, going back to the 1950s and the Night to
Exactly.
Remember and the way the ship sank in that film and certain things that are portrayed, you just can't really compare it anymore because we've learned so much over the past 110 years.
Yeah, it's and even with like minor details. I mean, like the dining saloon having carpet. What did they have back then? An account saying, you could sink into it up to your knees, and some companies claiming to have made the carpet for that. And now we know you've got the tile pieces. I mean, all the stuff. And
Yeah, and it's not supposed to be an exact 100% like recreation of the ship. It's still. I went to film school. You have to save money here. I know it's a very expensive movie, but you can't to tile a room that size or a film set that size. And how often do you actually see the floor in the dining saloon of James Cameron's movie? Just to see like that mosaic tile once in a while. I don't think it'd be
When I
worth
say
it.
that, you're like James Cameron breathing down your throat, down your neck. Just you didn't notice my flaws? How dare you? I will
Yes.
come and get
somebody asked in the chat, would the grates have been used for loading machinery in the engine room? No. The hatches that you saw in the open space were for loading cargo. There's one in the forecastle, two in that area in the forward well deck, two in the aft well deck, and then two small hatches on going down from aft B deck, and they all went down to the various cargo holds, refrigerated cargo, the perishable provisions cargo areas. There were some little hatches, portable plates in the floor of Scotland Road, which you probably saw. Those granted access to the boiler rooms to ship furnaces.
But you had to like remove
than that-
the decking to get to those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were not actually like, as it's often described as shipping furnaces, so you could assume that they would try to lift the entire boiler out those hatches, but that of course is not possible. What they actually were used for is shipping like spare parts for the boilers and stuff.
Right, because if you notice the size of the square or the rectangle that you have shown on the plans, is much smaller than a full boiler, obviously. If you're going to have to replace a full boiler or any part of the machinery, your ship's in trouble somewhat.
Another
Yeah, you
Belfast
would have to, like,
trip.
Another
rip
Belfast
out
trip.
the entire funnel and
Oh yeah,
take
that's
they could-
exactly.
In order to ship a boiler, I mean, there's a photo somewhere of one of Olympic's funnels and lower funnels taken out of the ship. The lower funnel was this. So there's an interesting system with the boiler rooms, and
Oh, there is a
you know,
bar.
and then it's, maybe we'll discuss this later when we talk about 401 1.5. But yeah, you basically you had this system where you had the boilers down in the boiler rooms at the bottom of the ship.
No.
And then you had these kind of spidery vent shafts that came from the top parts of the boilers, and they kind of went up at angles, and they met in one big rectangular kind of area, and then to that it connected to this long vertical oval-shaped funnel kind of vents that went up through the decks of the ship vertically. And then that connected to the base of the exterior funnels, which are the funnels proper that you usually see. And that I suppose they could remove those, like all of that, if they needed to ship a boiler.
yeah, and that actually happened. I believe it was in 1914, after the Titanic sinking, and Olympic, of course, had a massive refit. And what basically happened was, in the forwardmost boiler room, they used to have 5 boilers, but when they added the extra skin on the Olympic,
Yeah,
to
the
prevent,
extra double bottom.
yeah, basically like a double bottom on the side of the ship, which kind of limited the amount of space in the very first boiler room, so they no longer could have 5 boilers, so they would have to lift one of them out.
Matt, why are we looking at the calendar?
I'm telling you that today is April 10th.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Carry on.
It's not Wednesday though; it's Sunday.
Oh, I
Another
can't make everything perfect.
one interesting detail is that there was a difference in the framing in the hull between boiler room 6 and the rest of the boiler rooms, and boiler room 5. In boiler room 6 and the rest after 5, or before 5, again, numerically, you had the hull basically consisted of a combination of frames, large web frames, and keelsons, and you kind of get a sense of these in the current version of Mega Demo. And it was a little different though. For boiler rooms 1 through 4, you had enough space on either side of the 5 boilers in each boiler room to fit that many boilers. And in boiler room 6, you just had 4. In boiler room 5, it had 5 boilers, but there was not enough space at the sides to have both 5 boilers and the typical setup for the hull. So in boiler room 5, what you had was a system of kind of a doubled up regular frames, no web frames, and a special kind of enforced keelsons that were narrower than the rest. So it looked rather different in Boiler Room 5. It was a very interesting space in that sense.
How did you discover that, Kyle?
Iron plans and
why
various
did you
other-
discover that, Kyle?
You'll find out.
Okay.
By the way, Matt, because I see you going, there was this next to the chief steward office. There was this little step where you could see how they would look like also on B deck.
Oh, up to the watertight door.
Yeah, right, yeah. I think the cover should be look different, but this would be the step also on the B deck entrances.
There's a little ramp to go up so that you don't have to walk up
Oh yeah, there it is.
onto
Oh, yes.
any of
Oh
that nonsense.
boy, should I add that in 1.5? I don't know. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, those would be basically there to help out the passengers to step over these.
Yeah, like this, yeah.
And here's this
So is the
gate.
ship? Is the ship gonna? Oh yeah, this is what the B deck doors would look like. The gate and the ramp.
Yes. Oh.
Was there like a consensus
So-
on the Titanic? Because I know in Olympic that B
Oh.
deck in like 1911, the B deck doors didn't have those gates.
You're really quiet.
Hi, Matt.
So is the ship gonna sink then if you got the watertight doors closed right now? Oh, Matt, talk about this. The little staircase. The little. Do we know what do we got for the whatchamacallits, the accommodation stairs?
What? Oh, these. Yeah, I will.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting discovery.
You guys talk about that. I have to use the restroom. Monskar, hello. Thank you for the usual donation to us as you do so every time we have a live stream. Well, I hope you're doing well. You guys talk about this accommodation ladder, and I will be right back. I apologize.
Okay.
Can I just jump in just before we start talking about that? It is just after 9 o'clock in France, and in Titanic history, Titanic has just left Cherbourg, and Nomadic and the Traffic are making their way back into Cherbourg Harbour. That is all. Thank you.
This. Do you want to tell Matte or go?
So yes, I don't know how many of you know about the ladder. That's basically a thing you can put on the side of the ship, and if you have like a small rowing boat or a small tender, you could use the ladder to climb up to the shell door. And for the longest time, we didn't know where this ladder would be stored. But just recently we found like a very nice reference to the ladder on Titanic, and it was described to be in this space, and I think they even mentioned that it was hanging on the ceiling, so that's where we have it right now.
Yep. And on Britannic, these letters would be outside. You can see it in photos. It would be on the promenade was under the A or I think under the B deck promenade.
You can also
Believe you're
see
right,
this
yes.
in Britannic, Patroness of the Mediterranean.
Know that.
Available
And-
now on Steam.
And that's this letter stored here is one of the reasons why.
How dare you,
it's,
Eric?
why it's very likely that this space is pure steel, because if this is, ladder stairs goes wet and there would be paneling, that wouldn't be good for the paneling. So it makes sense that this area here is made out of iron, so that seawater can't destroy the paneling. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, basically we had a very long debate whether this entrance area would have wood paneling or not.
Oh, we've got a super chat from.
Oh, it's Historic Travels.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah, from Historic Travels. Hello there.
It's nice to see you here.
Historic Travels asks, love the game. Y'all do great work. I'm trying to read through the yellow text here. Question, are you all still planning to do a sinking level in the final game? Yeah, that's something we would eventually love to do, yeah, in the final game. Unfortunately, it's going to have to wait quite a long time. we want to get the ship done, obviously, first. I mean, that's going to be a necessity. And then we'll see where we are at that point. Because the sinking is definitely, even at a even if we were to, regardless of how we do it or how simply it's done, it's going to be quite a job.
It's
And
a
the
little bit
ship,
more challenging than just like how we have it in Britannic, Patrons of the Mediterranean.
yeah.
Here's some advice: remove the potatoes. That might help.
Yeah, exactly.
No
Yeah.
more potatoes.
People want to see the
That's
potato
fine.
run flood.
No more potatoes.
No more potatoes.
know what
Oh,
you
I'm
mean.
getting that. I'm getting that. Is this that? No, it's never mind. I lied. But yeah.
What?
You'll see eventually. But yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you for the support, you guys. It's
Sad.
it's appreciative as we continue doing this crazy stuff, or as when you see the crazy stuff that Kyle has recently done, eventually, I don't know when it's going to be, and I'm not trying to force you to say anything, Kyle, and I'm not gaslighting or anything like that, but when you see that stuff, it'll be fun. And are we doing a real time? Excuse me for my sore throat. Are we doing a real time syncing live stream this year? I believe we are. Yes. When it comes to, because this is Titanic week, everyone, yay, Titanic week, celebrating the life of Titanic and 1,500 people dying. I don't know how else to put it. It gets kind of surreal during April.
Yeah.
But there is a plan to have a live stream this time, because we didn't last year during the sinking, and we might have another live stream. Wait, I was planning on staggering them. Today's Sunday, so Tuesday, and there might be a Patreon only live stream just to discuss some things tomorrow. And if you're also on Patreon, which you can see, I'm gonna post a link in a second. But there has been a poll recently on Patreon because we're going to try to historical travels. Thanks for the other $10. I've been an admirer of your project for many years. If you would ever like to work together on a project, feel free to reach out. That'd be great. Yeah. We have so much stuff that we're trying to do, but yeah, that's on my agenda to do something similar to what you're doing. So yeah, we'll talk. But if you are on our Patreon, make sure to check out. There's a poll which is going to. Sorry, I was reading a message. I was reading a DM, which I hope didn't get shown on screen. But if you're a patron, make sure you go on Patreon and vote in a poll that's live right now, because we are going to. You got to be a certain level of patron. I believe it's like the $12 one above. But we're going to somehow have a viewing party of a Titanic movie this week, and the patrons are going to pick if it's going to be Titanic 53, A Night to Remember, SOS Titanic, or Cameron's film. And the last time I checked, it was overwhelmingly going to be the 3-hour epic that is Titanic 1997. So don't know the specifics of how that's going to happen, but the viewing party will be not like us mystery science theatering it, but just watching it together over some maybe Discord and just typing in the chat about how we feel about certain things so that we don't ruin it. We'll see, but yeah, that will also happen sometime this week too. So yeah, people want to see I believe that's the last time I checked the results. It was leading. We will not be watching Titanic 666.
Aww.
Not yet. I have to watch it myself and see see what it's like before I watch it with anybody else. So yeah,
Matthew is going to suffer for us.
I'll suffer.
God bless you, Matthew.
I will be the one who suffers.
Am I right in thinking we still haven't been to the second class entry yet?
I'm heading to I'm heading there right now. I have this. I'm having the glossy glitch right now. Of the wet wood glossy glitch. I've never had that happen before.
I have it almost every time.
Oh, I'll be damned. Thank you for the $20. How long did it take you to design and render all this? If you know, what are your computer specs to render all this? This is, well, this that's the question for that. For rendering it, for getting it in the engine, is quit menu. Okay, I will. To do all that is actually take some time because it's not technically rendering. I need like I need Kyle. Can you explain the process? Because
Well, I mean, designing and
I-
designing it. I mean,
that's
it's been a literal multi-year process, a decade in the works, basically,
Yeah.
to do all of this. And but a lot of this has been put in the engine over multiple years, in different iterations, that eventually resulted in Demo 401 here. Derek would be better to
There we go.
comment on more recently, like how long it takes to build lighting. When I built lighting for an earlier iteration of Mega Demo, it would take like 12 hours at least, something like that.
Yeah,
And
Kyle
it
would go,
used to
Kyle
be
would go to
even
sleep, and
longer.
then we'd all just pray, kind of.
Yeah, Derek could say in the chat though how long it takes to build lighting now. I know it's not as long because it uses GPU, or what do you call it? GPU baking.
And this is a good question because, or a good segue into Chris's question. Thank you, Chris, for the support. Longtime fan, first time super chatter. Interesting phrase. I guess we're going to call that for people. Super chatter. How much of these renders can be imported into Unreal Engine, into the new Unreal Engine? I imagine you mean Unreal Engine 5. Kyle, that's up to you again.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
How much of what you see here can be imported with the transition to Unreal Engine 5?
Oh boy. Unfortunately, probably none of it without a few changes here and there, because UE5 uses a lot of special. Nanite requires meshes to be done a certain way, so it would have to be kind of re-imported at minimum, uh, in a different way.
Not remodeled,
There's a
but
few.
re-imported.
Yeah, not like remodeled. But yeah, re-imported. There are a few things that need to be done model-wise, but it's not major. It's part of the general work that we'll be doing, going through these spaces.
Yeah, I mean, it still looks impressive as it does now, but we've all seen and all marveled at. I mean, look, we're at the limits of what Unreal Engine 4 can do right now, with what we've put into it, and we've gotten like 30% of the ship, so a little over 30% of the ship, I believe, right? Is what our statistics said. It's more than that now, isn't it?
It's
Oh,
freak.
Jillyflower, thank you so much too.
I'll just say that with 1.5, it'll probably be between. It'll probably be around 38%.
38%? Okay. Yeah, because Kyle uses the plans to like figure out the percentage of the ship, to like he uses math. There's a lot of math involved. Um, uh-oh. So yeah, there's a lot
Which,
of
which is well over a third of the ship that you're gonna have for free in Demo 401.
yeah, for the
You
time
can
being.
explore all of it.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, that sign should not be there.
We gotta remove signs.
Ah, yes, the sign. Yeah, this is a very recent
boy.
discovery.
Oh yeah, I gotta remove. There are a couple other signs. I put some signs next to the corridor, the C-deck corridors, and Matt didn't like that.
Yeah, I feel like they're, well, this one you can't see. So when you open it, you're like, I didn't see that sign. I don't know. I just think above. I think it's easier to put above the door. Crew only.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody
It's
reads
great
such a
even in-
long.
I mean, it's great that even in 2022, people like me, not to boast or anything, but we can still find new things. That's always exciting,
Yeah, there's always new
especially
things.
when it's exterior.
Yeah, this is the area that I always felt was like, oh, it's over and done with. Everyone knows everything about the exterior, and then every once in a while, people are like, surprise me, and I'm like, oh, okay, I had no idea.
There's one small thing I want to mention, which is that a concern, a common concern is you guys released mega demo here and demo 401. And you got all these areas. You got 30%, 35, 40, whatever percent you have of the ship. It doesn't just is it just does this detract from the alpha? Does it are you worried that people aren't going to want to play the alpha or going to care about it? My personal opinion is no. The alpha, the thing is, it's as Matt said, we're at the limits of what we can do with UE4, with demo 401, and then there's just the issue of the general way that 401 is built to where you can't really expand it too much more and at all once you factor in the various technical limits.
This is just a rod.
So,
Nothing.
oh, that's a flagpole.
I know it's a flagpole, but it's just a rod. It doesn't. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, it's the alpha is more. It's everything's going to be more refined. It's going to be in UE, eventually UE5. I don't know about the first release still. That's going to be
right.
A Derek thing, eventual Derek thing. But it's going to be very different. It's going to be properly put together, as opposed to, it's kind of difficult to, without getting too technical, what that means.
If you can see the side of our ship, you see that it's not. It
yeah,
would sink.
Yeah, anybody who's used Unreal Unlocker can see that stuff doesn't really fit together very well in Demo 401. There's stuff that has shear, there's stuff that doesn't, mostly doesn't, and there's stuff that's too wide or too narrow. It's off. The whole thing is off scale. It's a lot of weird stuff like that. And at any rate, all right, yeah, we got 30 whatever percent of the ship here. People, the alpha is going to be 100% of the ship.
In time. Yeah.
Really, in time. How much time? I don't freaking know. But it's the whole ship, and it's going to be completely interactable. You can turn your lights on and off and all that, and open all the doors and windows, and have all the fun you want with that. And it'll be the final, because a lot of stuff is also outdated here in the 401, and so that'll have like the best, latest research. Some of this stuff is very outdated, like Scotland Road, and
like this steel box right here that you see. It's a vent.
Yeah, I love
shaft.
that. I love that with it emblazed into the actual steel.
Right, that's a nice detail though. The Dalzell steel.
This'll
I don't
steel.
know if the vent shaft should actually exist. It was kind of inside the wall there.
yeah, that needs to be removed. I think I already removed it for the 1.5 update. I don't remember, but Derek should already have that change put in. But so
We're the most critical of our own work. Don't worry, guys.
Oh yes.
So I don't know. It's in regards to mega demo. Like, I'm sure there are some people who are going to be like, "Hey, yeah, I've got this now, and I don't really care when the alpha comes out." But that's not going to stop anyone from really going for it. I mean, I don't worry about that really at all.
Right. There was
Like,
one question. Actually, there's a new question now again from that kind of will apply to what we're talking about, Kyle. Don't worry, but from Albidam, asking like, what's the plan then on making the ship? Are we going from top to bottom, front to back? And we've somewhat discussed on how we've. And thank you for the $20 also, Albidam. How exact to the Olympic class is this? We strive to make this as exact as possible. It's sometimes something might not look like the way it should to a modern audience, but we know that it's accurate. Like for example, the lower decks are majority of just bare steel walls, and that might not fly for what people imagine Titanic would look like, because they have this they have this preconception of Titanic being the grandest ship in the world and needs to have a dozen gilded grand pianos, for instance. But we strive to make it, and sometimes it can generate some good discussions amongst the research team here, as accurate as possible, and as exact to the Olympic class as possible. And indeed, it's this THG will be a hybrid. It won't be exactly perfect to Titanic. It's impossible to make it perfect to Titanic. There's no way that we're going to say that at the end of the day that THG is the final say in what Titanic looked like. Because there's no, unless one day somebody finally brings us an album of photographs of every space on Titanic, we'll never know. But we're going to use all the sister ships. We use other liners built by Harlan and Wolff, other ocean liners of the period up until like the early 40s, sometimes even later, to get an understanding of how these ocean vessels of the period were built, functions, and were manned. And that's how we create what you can see in sometimes famous photos, and what you see in not photos at all, but just deck plans. And the last part of your question, and then we'll circle back to the first part of like what's our plan, I guess, is where do we get our schematics? We've kind of, unfortunately, there's still some plans that we haven't been able to get our hands on, but we've the research team as a collective have, oh, I've already been here, have tried to find as many deck plans related to Titanic and the Olympic class as possible, for the hive mind that is our group. And we've put them together. We find them in archives, mostly in the United Kingdom. There's, yeah, like the National,
Northern Ireland.
Yeah, the Northern Ireland Museum, the National Museums of Northern Ireland has a lot of them. Liverpool Museum, and these are all places where you can inquire, and if you ask nicely and open up your wallets, usually you can get copies too. It's just a little difficult sometimes. They are, besides them being rare plans, supposedly, they don't want to just give them out willy-nilly. But this is where we get most of our archival material from, and we only like to use material from the age. Like we don't like to use modern recreations of archival material. So if we take a deck plan, we want to make sure that deck plan is from the period of when the ship was actually constructed to use as source material. But if you want some deck plans of Titanic yourself, you can get some by heading to the link that I'm going to post in the chat right now, which is which has the collective knowledge and research of THG over the years put into a 2D plan, and there are several options there. But the last part of your question, which I think is really good, is what is the plan? For making the Alpha, making the ship. Are we going top to bottom, front to back? Are we going deck? We talked about this in past streams. Oh wait, this chessboard is messed up or something. Oh, who's winning in this game? But we talked about this in a couple of streams that we're trying to do one deck first, and that is B deck, and that's because there's a lot going on on B deck. We're actually on C deck right now, and I don't know who's winning. I haven't played chess in a very long time, but
Pretty sure someone said on Facebook that the pieces are actually the wrong way around.
Pieces are reversed on one of the boards. And I think that's we have to see. There's a lot of things that we have to make sure that we get right here. I wanted to add dolphins to the world outside the ship, because there's some dolphins available on the Unreal Marketplace. Sorry, another tangent. I just wanted to, because in the '97 movie, there's dolphins in the front of on the bow of the ship. I just thought like, hey, it'd be cool if once in a while you could just have. So I guess I'm spoiling my Easter egg, but you could see like a dolphin like kind of going in the ocean there.
That one, look at that one.
But I wanted to make sure that it was the correct type of dolphin for the North Atlantic, because if God help me if we bought a dolphin that was found in the Pacific and stuck it in there, so we wouldn't hear the end of it. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, we're still getting to that point where once we are finally able to model a certain amount of areas which will repeat, we'll be able to somewhat copy and paste the ship as we get down lower. Like you'll start seeing the same furniture used throughout the ship. And I didn't even know these chairs were there. Nice. And the same with some cabins. A lot of the it's interesting. Some of the cabins start becoming the same too. Those period cabins, which are rather difficult and ornate, they repeat even. Which is why we picked B deck. There is a lot of um, a lot of the groundwork begins with B deck and then starts repeating as we go on. And I'm going to do the thing where I restart, just because.
Yeah, no, I also think B deck is it's a pretty good advertisement to get into the alpha itself. You
I
can
just
see a
wanted
lot of
to make
great stuff.
There were a lot of reasons why we. I'm going to switch to nighttime just because actually. There were a lot of reasons why we picked B deck, and that was besides the fact that there were um, the spaces and what we thought we could do. Pardon me, but yeah, it kind of shows off the work that will go into it, not just the ship, but what
Hmm.
we'd be able to do, and we had a lot of it done already too.
And
I just want to do a mic check real quick. Can anyone hear me, or am I still like too quiet?
Now you sound good, Matt.
Okay,
good.
cool.
At least from me. Before I could even tell you were a little quiet, but yeah. There's a lot of. I see a lot of repeating questions. I'm sorry about. Does it run on a Mac? And we've always. Oh, the door doesn't open. We've always had that problem. Um, Macs are notoriously difficult to make this work with. I've seen people get it to work on Macs, but when they use what is the program called where you basically cheat Windows to be on a Mac? Some people are able to get it to function on a Mac that way. Excuse me again, I'm losing my voice. Don't catch COVID. Um, and yeah, so and eventually this will be put into. I mean, like all these spaces are pretty much modeled to their what to their final details. Just some of it needs to be like finalized, as we say, in our world. Some of the details need to be finalized. Like a better texture needs to be made for this new molding that we put up above here, or like these. Sorry, Kyle. These grills have to be um, more properly modeled. I think you made those like last minute quickly just to fill them in. So there's still a lot of the spaces are just waiting in the pipeline for getting there. And we're our worst critics, our harshest critics. But with that said, oh, I can't run to the bow from here, can I? Darn it. I gotta go back down in the ship. Oh, it's so difficult to get around Titanic. I want to get to a certain room in a second because I'm going to ask a question. Because I want to give something away to everyone who's viewing our live stream right now. Yeah, contest time. I want to give contest, woo, celebratory contest music. So this
It's
is
nice to see you.
This is,
To see you.
this is
Sorry.
this isn't C deck. Okay, so yeah, this live stream, I wanted to have a first, second, and third class giveaway. But the giveaway is going to have to be with a question involved. And um, I'm going to write to the guys I'm talking with, just in case they're going to watch. I'm going to give them the answer. They should know the answer.
We'll
But
see.
I'm going to ask a question to the chat if they want to take part in this first giveaway. The question will be whoever gives the answer first, and you kind of can like just throw answers in the chat, and it's okay. But the first giveaway is the third class giveaway. Hopefully, progressively, you might think that the giveaways get better. The grand prize giveaway, ooh la la, is going to actually, I use that word a lot actually, is going to be a piece of Olympic. I have,
Ooh.
yeah,
Ooh,
I'll send, yeah, I'll send you.
cool.
Now I'm interested.
Right,
Now I
yeah,
want some.
that's going to be the grand prize giveaway. Once we have that at the end of the live stream. But this first one is going to be a more simple one. So yeah, the simple part, the simple question, I think it's simple. The simple giveaway is going to be just just THG merch. The very first one is going to be the good old THG coaster, which if you already have it, that's great. But it's actually kind of cool. It has the THG logo on a slab of marble.
Matt, don't knock the THG merch. I'm wearing a THG T-shirt right now, so don't knock it.
I'm not knocking. I'm saying, yeah, but a coaster. I mean, I'm using a coaster right now too. But
I'm
who
using
uses?
a coaster.
Okay, coasters are awesome, everybody. Coasters are great, and that's what I'm going to give away right now is a THG coaster. So
Woo! I want to get a whoop in the chat.
woo in the chat. So I'm going to give away a THG coaster, but it goes to the person in the chat who's the first person who gives me an answer to this question, which I'm also going to hopefully put onto the screen too. But I'll ask the question now. What was the most photographed room aboard Titanic and Olympic?
Oh, we're waiting.
Now, they're both the same. Oh, I see it. Okay.
There it is. Oh,
There it is.
Do we accept that though? Because that's not.
We accept that.
Hmm.
We accept
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I got the answer. I knew it would happen fast, and you could probably just have guessed like any room of the ship, but the answer is not the grand staircase, by the way. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure that it's going so fast. People are paying
Someone's
attention.
technically said the full word now, but if we're going to take the first one,
I'll
then
take the
that's
first
fine.
one. Yep, it was the. I'm gonna go to that room right now to let you know that you won. We're going. It's not the first class grand staircase. Gosh, we wish it was, but it's not. It's definitely not the grand staircase. I would have even preferred the lounge to be more photographed in this room. But oh, I don't have a lounge. See? It's because I'm like streaming and such. But indeed, this room is the most sorry, these ships don't exist anymore. As sad as it is, this room was the most photographed room aboard Titanic, and was the most photographed room aboard Olympic, due to the fact that they've had photo shoots in this room of celebrities. I guess it was just a popular space. So indeed, it is the gymnasium, and the person who got it first was Santi Rico. So congratulations, Santi Rico. I saw you pop up first with Jim, and I'll accept Jim. Jim is definitely a gymnasium, and it's difficult to type in gymnasium. So yeah, gymnasium. Gym is the answer. There were like there could have been like 6 or 7 photos of Titanic's gym. I forget. Someone go look at the video I made. I don't remember anymore. But
Yeah.
there's I find a new photo of Olympic's gym and I go like, that's great. Whatever. it's
Yeah,
not
it's not even exciting anymore.
it's not even exciting because there's like
Just-
so many pictures of Olympic's gym.
Yeah. But I will have to say that the pictures that we do have of Titanic's gym are very exciting. Just like a few months ago, we discovered another um, new equipment in the room.
Oh yeah, that's true. We don't have it in this right here, so I'm slowly getting there.
Yeah.
There's some equipment right here. Why am I using that? So yeah, there is a that's where the weighing machine, which is basically a chair that you sit in, and it takes your weight, and also a height recording machine, which is it is what it is. It records your height. It's basically just a measuring tape stick. And they are sitting right here, and you can barely see them in one of the photographs. Um, Santi, if
Yeah.
I wrote down your name. I will, if you want to, yeah, email us at this email address, which is one of our main ones. I will make sure you get that. So yes. So congratulations to Santi for guessing gymnasium first right away. They were very excited about it. They typed gymnasium twice. They typed gym twice. So either it was a great guess or they knew.
Mm.
But yeah, the gymnasium is a very popular place to take photographs, probably because of the location, and
It feels so cramped in
it
there.
does feel
It
cramped.
just
Yeah,
looks small.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
Olympics
Titanic.
was
They
Olympic
so
was
much.
empty.
yeah,
Titanic's room is very crowded.
yeah. I'm bumping into things left and right in here.
Yeah. And just to go back to the weighing chair, it's basically the same thing that you see in the Turkish bath. And you can see the weighing chair also in this demo if you go down to the aft deck.
The entire gymnasium is in a awkward space because they're on earlier ships. Well, I think the only earlier ship I can make an example of is Adriatic, which had a Turkish bath slash swimming pool, more along the lines of a plunge pool. Indeed, the gym was uh, way down in the ship, right near the, the Turkish bath, the spas, which is where Olympics gymnasium was originally intended to be in a lot of the concept drawing. One of the cutaways of the Olympic that was created showed the gym being alongside of the Turkish bath on F deck. And even today, when you have a modern cruise ship, a cruise liner, an ocean liner, your gymnasium is alongside your spa. They're all next to each other so that a guest can easily change for either or if they wanted to and just go to a locker room, a changing booth, and not have to awkwardly walk around the ship in their exercise gear, if you will. And indeed, in Titanic's gym, there's no place to change. So if you see the deleted scenes for Titanic 1997, you have ladies in Edwardian fashions on a bicycle. You have Cal in his day suit on the rowing machine. So you'd see that it's not in the best of locations perhaps. It got much ventilation and light, but other than that, it would usually on the ocean liners going forward, um, of the age of the golden age of the ocean liner, they're on the lower decks. Um,
Yeah, I think the common understanding as to why they moved the gym on the boat deck was to kind of showcase the, I guess, expensive equipment that they had.
oh, they had that expensive. Oh God, I forgot his name. Xander Equipment or whatever. That he.
Oh, yes.
I want to say Xandergraph, but I know it's not right. What program do we model in? It's usually when it's done right, it's Maya. um, but when a lot of this is done first in SketchUp and then handed over to Kyle, who's here, or who is our main builder of Titanic and does a lot of this in Maya. Um, so yes, everyone will be jealous of your coaster. I have a coaster, and I'm already jealous. So yes, and oh, thank you, Josh, for the $5. First class passengers didn't dress up on the first night. That's true. Yeah, it's a tradition that you don't get dollied up to go to dinner or any meals when you're boarding the ship on the very first night. Um, so that's the one time that you can probably go to the gym, too.
Another thing about the gym, because it's situated up there, I think it was Pesquet who wrote about that he found it strange that the gymnasium was on boat deck level. So it seems Cunard wasn't a big fan of doing this, because on Aquitania the gymnasium also is next to the
Down below, right?
swimming pool. Not even right next to. It's technically inside the swimming pool, because between Aquitania swimming pool and gymnasium was a sliding big wall. So if you wanted, you could combine both rooms or not. That's very interesting design choice.
That is different.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about Aquitania's gymnasium slash swimming pool.
Yeah, and Leonard Pesquet, the guy he's talking about, is of course the chief designer for Cunard, and he was responsible for designing not only the Lusitania, Mauritania, I believe, but also the Aquitania.
He's I guess you could say he is the Thomas Andrews of Cunard, for anybody, in a sense.
Yeah, very much so.
How often does the team discover new Titanic photos? I don't think that the team has discovered any new Titanic photos. If the team discovers a new Titanic photo, that's a big deal. But what the team does discover are photos of her sister ships. Which is a big deal to us. It's very difficult to find photos of Titanic, inside or out. Harder. There's only I don't want. There's very few. There's like 39 photos. Oh crap. I don't know why I just said that, because that was question 2. How many interior photos of Titanic were taken? So now I have to think of a new question. Yeah. There's only 39 photos of Titanic's
I mean,
interior.
another question you could. Hold on.
Yeah, type with me. So yeah, there's very few Titanic photos, but there's a lot of Olympic photographs, and
How many Olympic photos are out? Genau, that will be.
I don't want to count Olympic photographs. I think out of all of Titanic photographs, what are we up to, like 400 total? I think. I remember we had a count once, and it gets kind of. I'm just gonna circle around this lovely pool for a while. We had a count once, and it gets kind of fuzzy, because can you consider the equipment of the ship being built in Belfast a photograph of Titanic or not? And I don't know, and that's why it's like, is it? So I haven't looked at that Google sheet or Google Doc folder that we have in our research group of all Titanic photos in a while. But
I think some people are trying to guess how many pictures there are of Olympic, but that would be thousands.
Thousands of pictures, yeah.
Yeah, that's especially the gymnasium photo shooting photos. Matt mentions are, I don't know, 50 already or 30. So there are way too many Olympic.
There's way too many Olympic photos.
But not from the correct places. There are many photos from Olympic, but we want to see some special places. But yeah.
Yeah.
For example, a corridor photo would be nice. Mid ships, first class. Yeah, but sadly,
yes,
we only have bedding land.
Nobody took any photographs of boring places. That's the thing. What we think are exciting. People were like, I don't need to take a snapshot of this room.
That's why you want to look at photos that have nothing to do with Olympic or Titanic as a subject, like those photos of Albert Einstein or other people just walking through corridors in random places, just taken around random places. Those are some of the most enlightening ones, in some ways.
That's
So that's why it's great to like search old archives and newspapers and try to see if you can find just random photos that were taken around these ships of people and events that happened aboard them, because that you could find something that shows something that you've been looking for, or that just is generally interesting to a Titanic.
That's why we have to be thankful that celebrities and of the period sailed aboard Olympic a lot, so that you have photographs of them just standing in their cabins, or you have British, not technically royalty, but you have British duchesses and dukes standing,
Yeah.
posing like
A
right
couple.
here.
Yeah, and that was like a couple of examples. Yeah, like there's a photo of some people, a delegation standing on the staircase right there, and it shows you a few details. There's, when the Olympic, cut down that light ship, they had some survivors aboard. There are pictures of them standing around the grand staircase, and the grand staircase isn't the subject; the people are.
Hmm.
But it shows some fun details of the grand staircase in angles that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, because they just would have never bothered taking pictures otherwise. And or like there was a story in newspapers way back when of some guy who supposedly killed someone and threw their body overboard, or something like that. What was it? Porter,
I think it was
something like
Porter
that.
J.
And
Yeah, the Porter J murder.
yeah, and in like one newspaper just had a photo showing. I think it was related to that story, just a random photo
I
of
think
the
it's
end of a corridor outside the
Yes.
cabin, and it
Yeah.
showed the
Yep,
it showed
there are many. They did, I believe, 3 to 5 I have seen from that area. Inside the cabin, corridor, yeah, something.
Yeah, and like it's just a random photo of the end of a corridor outside that cabin, and it shows like the little linen locker, and it shows that they were painted white instead of the bare stained mahogany that we have in the
I
demo
hate
now.
things painted white.
Yeah, and so it's just little interesting things like that you see that. So you have to be open-minded when you're searching for research material, because sometimes you just shouldn't search for Olympic or Titanic at all.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
spend if I decide to research, I'll be like, okay, I'll research a person's historical figure. Like Kyle mentioned, get me through these doors. Uh, there's a group of passengers standing in front of the grand staircase. I know that they're the Belgian ambassador to the United States, I think, or something like that, from 1933. So I will search for that person, the Belgian ambassador, and the son of the Belgian king, because that's who's in the group. I know who's in the group, so I'll just search from them from the year, or I'll search the year in Belgian, something, just hoping that there's some newspaper like tidbit that shows a photograph or something like that, and it doesn't happen often. But or photographs can be misidentified too, which is always fun. And then you have to look at it and be like, wait a minute. So whenever I go onto these big photograph sites that love to collect photographs and sell the rights, so such as like Getty, for instance. I can't get through these doors. Getty, for instance, Getty Image Search. They have a lot of fun photographs, and I believe it was our model and researcher, Gio Castro. He found a photograph of oh gosh, I believe it was a Broadway actress. I don't know if it was
Yes. And the photo was marked at Bulgaria, right? Is
Yeah,
this photo?
it was
Yeah.
Berengaria, and she was sitting in a cabin, surrounded by flowers, a steamer trunk. Clearly, she was going to she was setting sail. But it said it was on Berengaria, but Geo, being as smart as he is, looked at it and he's like, wait a minute, everyone settle down. That wardrobe and wash basin does not look like that looks familiar, and then that bed looks familiar, and that window behind her looks familiar, and he put the context clues together and was able to piece together that this doesn't seem like it is. It seems like it's Olympic, and then we have to search that Broadway actress's name and see what date she was actually sailing on, and find out if she was on Olympic or Berengaria. We have to then dive into more research to make sure that it's right. And then that it usually opens up more doors and new questions when we find a photograph of Olympic, especially in interior space.
Yeah.
So it's,
It-
it's pretty exciting sometimes.
Yeah, and the good thing about that photo in particular was that there was actually no other photo that showed this particular cabin.
It was a rare cabin.
Yeah.
Yes, it is now only the Louis XV, the gray style cabin is the only cabin we don't have a photo or a glimpse of a photo of, I believe. So, if somebody here has a photo of this gray cabin suite, then please let us know. But yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
always a couple of things a couple of rooms that we have no idea what they. I mean we have a good idea about most of the places, to a degree. Um, but there are, we will always try to find more photographs, and the joke is that somebody's grandfather or uncle has, a photograph of the grand staircase from Titanic in a shoebox somewhere under their bed, and they don't even know about it. Which is
And
certainly
then they die, and their family throws it away.
yes. Nobody won question 2 yet. I won question 2. I gave the answer away. Um, question 2 was this: how many
Matt,
interior
what do you
photos of
think?
Titanic were taken total? And I gave the answer away before I asked the question because I got too excited about talking about Titanic stuff. So
What do you win, Matt? What do you win?
I won a set of my deck plans, which I really don't.
Whoa!
Which I really have
Nice.
enough. I have enough of those. Trust me. So I'm gonna have to think of
Everyone's
something
putting
else.
in the chat now how many there is. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
Do you mean like a digital version or?
Oh no, they're gonna get assigned real hard copy, which is
Oh,
risky
ah.
which was risky
That's
to
cool.
say, but the 1/350th plan.
That's a great price.
Even I want one of them.
Yeah. Which is really annoying because shipping prices just increased in the United States. But yeah, I'll have to think of a new question quickly. How many?
I've-
I
I've
don't
put
know.
one
Do
in
you
the
know the answer
chat.
to that one? It's got to be a tough question. It's got to be a tough question.
Hmm.
I like that one because I liked that question because I thought of a question. I gave the answer in like a video before, and so I already had the answer like out there.
I'm scouring back through your what's it called videos.
But yeah, now everyone's gonna leave this live stream and look at videos,
Oh no.
which I don't hate, because then I guess that gives some views
Boosts
of that.
the other views.
I could just skip second class like is that a potato? No. I could just skip second class like everybody does in every Titanic movie, and just
Oh,
jump
no.
to the first
No.
class prize. But yeah,
I love second class.
I'm gonna walk
I feel
out.
like second
I'm
class
gonna
just
walk
gets
out on deck
overlooked
right now. Actually,
massively.
oops. So yeah, some of the things need to change in here. One of the things I noticed that we never included were 2 fruit tables.
Ooh.
Oh yes.
2 fruit stands, which I think are portable, but we never included them.
But you will see those in the deck plans.
Hmm
Yeah.
You see
So,
them on the passenger accommodation, and you see them in several places.
Yes, it's true. If there are some major discoveries, you will first see it very likely in Matt's plans. So Matt's plans are the best way to stay up to date when it comes to big discoveries.
Yeah, I'll get excited. I'll get excited about it and have to put it in the deck plan and make Kyle change the deck plans for me.
Yeah, and it's a little example is, I recently found something with the control valves for the capstans and the forecastle for reasons and
For reasons.
for reasons.
Yeah,
So
for the alpha,
you know,
so yeah.
you'll find out.
For reasons. I wanted to go on deck. For reasons. One of the areas which I like, which we can't go into.
What do you mean?
Can I go into this? I can't go into the fan room, can I? No.
No, not yet. Anyway.
Okay,
don't know.
I like this little fan room.
It's a nice little. It's a nice little.
I mean, we see a lot of this fan. I mean, weirdly enough, we don't see this fan room, but we know there's a photograph taken like right here. I think like this.
On Olympic, there are several photos taken in this area, and on Titanic, there's one taken from there and
There's
zoomed
dozens
in.
of photos taken here of Olympic. You know, I found one of a ship, but I knew it was Olympic. It was just called a ship. I think I have it right here. No, I sent it to you, Kyle, to scan, I believe. But yeah.
Yeah, perhaps one of the better photos of the room is taken during the disassembly of the ship, which actually
that's
shows
true.
the interior.
We have
and
to
the
be
paintings.
grateful that the ship was broken apart.
I mean, it's upsetting,
I mean,
but
that
yeah,
would
we
be
have
the
to.
Olympic, of course.
Yeah,
Titanic
Olympic, of
was
course.
taken apart differently.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Titanic did actually break apart, but
Yeah.
not the same way.
If you'll notice on these doors, there's no handles, and that's not a mistake.
Yes. When we found out, I was like, oh, I think it was because that's another funny photo story. Because there's this one photo of cooks in front of the port door of the Palm Court,
Mhm.
and people say this is Titanic, but we found out it isn't Titanic because you can see Olympics 1911 vent mirroring in the sliding doors, and so yeah, this photo isn't on Titanic but Olympic. And then we saw that Olympic had their handles outside, and one Father Brown photo showed no handles, and yeah, that's the reason.
Always the weird differences between the sisters. And that's one of the little tiny differences.
There's another
There's a- there's a-
switch.
There's a curse if you're a fan of if you're someone who's really into Titanic and the ship inside and out, top to bottom, bow to stern. It's the fact that you can look at almost any photo and be like, yeah, that's Olympic. That's not Olympic.
That is a curse, yeah. But yeah, Ben, you just said it's like it invalidates the switch theory. I think you just said.
Yeah, it just proves that they couldn't have done that like over a weekend and just changed everything over that. There's no way it happened.
Right, and it's funny. Lately, I don't know why I do it, but I get it. I like that. I on places where that's not a Titanic Facebook group, but still have Titanic content, and I'll see somebody suddenly chime in saying like, the ships were switched. Divers have confirmed that the name on the ship has been replaced, and I'll be like, no, this is not true. And
I've noticed that more and more recently.
Yeah, and then
is there an M?
I'll give them a nice little list of reasons why, and it's backed up with. I'll back it up if I have to, but I'll give them a reasons why that just you don't need to actually back it up. Be like, just here's a reason why that's BS. Here's another reason why that makes no sense whatsoever. Here's a third reason why it makes no sense. And then usually their reply will be, "You're wrong," or
yeah,
they'll just use all caps like, "No."
So I'm sharing a video in the chat right now, which was really good. There was a guy debunking the whole switch theory using literal just Minecraft Titanic and changing it into the Olympic and showing. Which, if anyone hasn't seen it, I've just put it in the chat now. But yeah, he just went through it and just went, there is no literal way they could have changed it over a weekend. It's just not possible at all.
There's no time to do that, and I have wood that says Olympic on it.
Ooh!
Yeah. That's not the wood I'm giving away, but yeah.
I was just about to mention that probably the easiest way to debunk the switch theory is just to look at many pieces of Olympic wood which have the numbers 400 written behind.
Exactly.
Well, if they wanted to make sure that 30 years down the line that their story was concrete.
It has to all be emblazoned with 400. Just imagine Ismay just standing there. I don't bloody care what you think. If it's It has to say 400. If it says 401, we're doomed.
It's
JP
ridiculous.
Morgan's just turning in his grave.
JP Morgan was just, well, he was just happy to get the money. That's all. He was okay.
Oh god,
I think
so bad.
I think I am gonna ask this question that you suggested, Ben. So I'm gonna set it up for the second class giveaway. In a second, but yeah, but when you hear the conspiracy theory in various public forums on social media, it's kind of the same as one we said earlier about when you go to a Titanic museum or attraction. You don't need to be don't act high and mighty and say like you know everything. Like if you encounter these type of people who believe that they know everything about Titanic because they've watched one little video on the internet or seen one article that says the ship had a fire and it was doomed because of the fire, just you should just disengage immediately. And I've learned to do that now too. So
you're not going to win. You're not going to win if you try and argue with those people. Those people have got it in their head. No offense if anyone thinks these things, but you're not going to win.
Their head is as empty as this cabin.
So. I will say that there are some very interesting conspiracy theories that I almost tend to believe, but this is not one of them.
Oh, I used to believe. I used to. Sorry, go on.
Which ones?
Quick note is that these cabins are going to be filled in 1.5.
Hooray!
Oh, we got some breaking news from Kyle Hudek at the scene. We just heard that in 105 update, we are going to get some furniture and fittings into these cabins. Kyle, can you tell us more?
No.
Okay, back to you in the studio, Matt. Thank you.
Nice. We have another night of German No, we're not doing on Adventure Out of Time.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say besides, these are cabins A3 and A4, I believe, and they're the largest A-deck cabins by area. I believe they're bigger than even like Andrews and Brown's cabins, even though they were period suites. In theory, they were modern style. So you're gonna get some fancy beds. You're gonna get some fancy couches and some fancy like oval tables. I mean, these cabins have been represented already before in different from different Titanic artists and places. So it'll be cool. Yeah, there's gonna be some etched glass. I think we've seen some etched. Have we seen etched glass? No, we haven't yet. Yeah, so. Look forward to this cabin. This is not the only. Who knows? I don't know anything that's going on. I don't know what's happening. We'll see.
Yeah. That's Well, I mean, Matt knows what's happening generally, but I don't think Matt knows about some other things.
Matt doesn't know everything. Matt just had COVID. He lost most of his memory.
God bless you, Matt.
I have a few surprises in the store, even for the team at this point.
The largest room on board the ship was the first.
Is Kyle also giving away wood? Sorry.
What was that?
What's that?
Is Kyle also giving away wood?
Kyle doing what now?
Kyle, you have Olympic wood, don't you?
Yes, Titanic wood. How did you get that?
No, I do have a piece of Olympic wood. It's from either one of the lounge corridors or maybe the D-deck first class entrances. One of those. It's first class anyway. Yeah, I do have some Titanic wood. It's legal. I think it's.
Oh no!
One of the big pieces raised, right?
Oh, good, Derek.
There were still pieces of wood and insulation and all kinds of crap stuck to it, and they just kind of carelessly they hauled it from exhibit to exhibit in this big tub, this big pool kind of thing, I think, and they kept it in there, so it wouldn't rust into dust. and all that while they were trying to conserve it. And as they moved it around, all this crap fell off of it
Crap.
and loosened the hole. And I say crap, but like it's actual material and matter from Titanic itself, and that included the insulation and bits of wood paneling or like the wood backing the paneling and stuff like that. And this stuff almost certainly would have just been exposed of, thrown away, whatever, disposed of,
course.
whatever. So the exhibition people, they gather the pieces up, or the volunteers would, and they do it with permission of the exhibition people, and so the stuff would be given away, or like the pieces of rust or pieces of wood. And I knew someone who volunteered for these, and they had a piece of wood that they had gotten that way, and it started falling apart over the years, and so they gave me a few of the tiny slivers. So I have a few very tiny little slivers, very tiny, of wood from Titanic.
It's
You
pretty
lucky
cool.
dog.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I have a tiny piece of a deck chair from Titanic.
I've got a piece of rustical. If we're just gonna.
I also have some rust from the Lusitania.
What the hell? That's not. No, that's not.
And a bolt from the SS United States.
Well,
Oh my god! I feel.
now Kyle's just showing off. Well, somebody
I-
soon in the chat is gonna have a second class prize. Yay! Because
Do.
I have a contest question. And the contest question is for, first, like I said, of the 1/350th scale, because basically I'm giving away stuff I actually have, is for the 1/350th scale set of plans. So it's a one-sheet plan. It's still pretty big, sorry, of the THG plans, and I'll sign it and I'll date it for today. So I guess it kind of has some significance. It's April 10th, whatever. Sorry. So you get the THG plans if you can answer. The first person who answers this question correctly in the chat. So if you already have the THG plans, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying them. And stay tuned for maybe the last question of the day, which will be coming up maybe in 45 minutes or so. So this question right here, to get the 1/350th scale Titanic Honor and Glory plans, is, I hope it fits on screen, how many toilets were on Titanic according to Dwinkler 2020? So yeah, there was a video I made about the Titanic toilets and plumbing systems, and I counted all the toilets, and I'm gonna use that number to go.
Yep, somebody.
And someone's already got it.
Somebody
Someone's
got
already
it.
got it.
So yeah, it was a fast one.
Yeah,
No pun intended for being with a toilet on the screen. So yeah.
I think the very first person got it correct.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
I probably
Yeah.
hovered over the toilet a little too long, perhaps.
Yeah, you did.
But
Yeah.
but you know what? That was part of that's you know what? That's pretty clever. It's pretty clever if you could figure that out where I was going with that. So I'm gonna go with that. I like that. So Sir Jedi with 285. That's how many I counted back in the day. And I believe that I miscounted like one or two. Because I had to because I adjusted the. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're right. Congratulations, by the way. But I believe I had to go back and change the design or how the a la carte restaurant staff bathrooms were based on Olympic. So I'm going with 285 for Sir Jedi right there. Congratulations, Sir Jedi. If you want to, let me type this in. Contact at Vintage Digital Rev. Shoot us an email right there with your information, and I'll get you one of the sheet plans. If you already have the plans, thanks so much. But yeah, I don't know if you do. Let me know if you do, and we'll arrange something. But yeah, so yeah, something about the piping system on Titanic and Olympic, because I just see that Matthew Griffin asked, did they have toilet paper or baby wipes? They had toilet paper, and you only want to use toilet paper while at sea. And I'm making rid of this stupid thing. Sorry. Goodbye question. And if anyone has gone on a cruise in the past 2 years, you're a brave soul. Good luck, James. But yes, awesome. Good to hear, Jedi. But if you go to sea now and you're on a cruise ship, they have little notices by the toilets that say, "Hey, don't flush anything down here that isn't supposed to go down here. Just use the toilet paper that's supposed to be used in the toilet because it could clog the pipes, and then you're going to have a terrible, terrible time on board your cruise," which is true. And the same thing could happen back in the day in 1912, 13, or 14, whenever this was made. This is from Olympic, and it's made the rounds in a couple of Olympic books, etc. So we stuck those in these first class. Oh, you can't see that one. Oh, the toilets in first class right here too. Um, it's kind of fun to just read the politeness of this compared to what it says. What you'll find today on a cruise ship, which is basically just says, "Don't be stupid. Don't flush anything down the toilet." So here you go.
Hey, you, poopy head, don't do it. If
Yeah.
you do it, you're going to be in trouble.
Right. So yeah. The reason why we don't have toilet paper in here is because, well,
Is it rendered yet?
you're not going to use this toilet, so why do we need to bother? So yeah. But yeah, congratulations again to Sir Jedi. They said they didn't have a set of plans, so I will send you out a set of plans. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, when I made that video back in the back in the beginning of 2020 for Titanic University, which I do earnestly wish to make more videos for. It's just a matter of time, effort, and having material to put on screen besides just black and white images constantly and me babbling on. Is I counted 285, I think, and I think I'm off by like one or two, so I'll have to go back and amend that. But I think the video was more. I mean, it was kind of like a clickbaity video, like how many toilets are on Titanic. But I think that it got the point across, like, you know, like this is how people bathed back in 1912, and that you didn't need to take a bath every day. And I kind of.
Oh, it was an excellent video.
Thanks. I feel bad that I kind of played up the fact that, you know, people didn't stink that bad in 1912. By then people were. It wasn't like the. It wasn't like the 1800s. Excuse me.
I wash every year.
When things were a little bit stinkier, but yeah. Pardon
Actually,
me.
speaking of baths, I think your plan has the bath numbers a bit wrong. We'll have to talk about that later.
My bath number's wrong.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nah, Matthew.
it's fine. Maybe I have Olympics. I may have Olympics arrangement. Whoops. Oh wait, I was just here. I just did a big circle.
Yeah.
What I also saw a question. I'm not sure.
Is this version of Demo 401 currently out, or is there only available to the crew of Titanic Honor and Glory?
Well, no. This is the one that everyone can play, because the one that is coming next is 1.5 is still being worked on by Kyle and Derek. Kyle mostly because then he has to give the final things to Derek, but Derek's doing adjustments. Like the other day, he posted on Patreon of some lighting changes I saw, and also shared with some of the water changes. Kyle's doing some things too.
Kyle is doing some things.
He's here. I don't know why I'm talking for Kyle when he's here. Sorry, Kyle.
What sort of things are you doing, Kyle?
What?
I'm gonna go down to your area that you like, Kyle, in the dining saloon.
You join us.
Wait,
you join us.
why do I like that area in the dining saloon?
You made those nice fancy sideboards.
Oh yeah, that wasn't a recent change. I made that
No,
years
it's not,
ago
but
at
it's
this
still a
point.
nice. It's a nice thing. Let me.
Yeah, but the sideboards are fun to make. The 1.5 update. So yeah, I'm mainly doing a lot of modeling related things for it while Derek is working on other aspects of like the programming side and the graphics side. And he's more he's got some fun lighting updates that if you're a
Yes.
patron, you've probably gotten them already.
We do have Plymouth Harbor on the wall, by the way.
And oh no, yeah, that I still don't know what to do about those glowing. Derek and I had been trying to figure it out for ages, and
That's okay.
it's just annoying. It's something to do with the ceiling because it's a type of parallax occlusion mapping that's what it is, and because it's not really 3D, and so it kind of acts weird where it runs into the paneling. And I don't know, a solution might just be to change it to regular parallax without the occlusion. I really don't. It wouldn't look as nice, but it would also solve that weird glowing problem. Oh yeah, I mean, as far as 1.5 updates, yeah, I mean, you know, if Matt doesn't care, I can share a few things.
Oh,
I mean-
I'm all aboard sharing things.
I mean, I don't have any. I mean, I'm not gonna show any images right now. I mean, I'll tell you a few things that are coming.
You can tell things,
because
but I would like to share an image or two in Titanic week down the line. But yeah, that's fine. We already
so I'll just mention it for now here on the stream where nobody's gonna see it.
drum roll, please. Yeah.
And later on, we'll reveal more outside the stream. But if you're a loyal THG listener and you've been here for like 6,000 hours listening to us, you'll get to find out a few of these things now, which is so.
Wait,
demo,
should I go to? I'm gonna go to where it's gonna begin.
Yeah, go down to the boiler room.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're prepared. You are about to hear some of the latest features that are coming in Titanic Honor and Glory version 4.5.
Well, I mean, the first thing I'll say is that there's a new cabin.
I went to the boiler room.
C70.
What are you doing?
While you're going down to the boiler room, there is a new cabin. It's a first-class stateroom, C70. That's in there.
Ooh.
There are a few cabins that were visible you couldn't go into. Now you can go into them. Of course, the two A-deck cabins have been updated. There are a couple other cabins, but I'm not going to mention them. You can just find them. And then there's the big part of the update for 1.5. It's a real snowball on my part.
Have you
because
thought
I
of
just kept.
Have you thought of a name for it yet?
No. But yeah, I started updating Boiler Room 5, and I was like, oh, you know what? I want to do a few more things in here, and then I just updated the whole Boiler Room.
Wait,
and
you wanted to update Boiler Room 5?
Boiler Room 6, I mean.
Oh, okay. Just checking
Oh.
your numbering
So,
system. You're as off as
so-
the numbering as I am with my baths. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was updating this boiler room a bunch, and then it just kind of ballooned out from there. So you're gonna get an updated Boiler Room 6, like not totally redone. It's a lot of adjustments though. There's a lot of stuff I got wrong in my first iteration of this room, and there's a lot of details that are missing. You'll also get the entirety of Boiler Room 6. It won't just be the front half. There's a lot of stuff in there. The catwalks have been totally changed because I had it wrong before. There were a lot fewer catwalks in the upper levels because I noticed when researching it that they tended to only put them where they needed them, i.e. to get up and down vertically, and to access either end, and to access the gauge platform, the gauges at the upper parts of the boilers. And it's not total guesswork either. There are some period plans of the boiler rooms that show where the catwalks are. It's not a complete mystery, surprisingly. Even for the engine room, there are plans that kind of show them, at least for the reciprocating one. No engine room in here. I'm nipping that in the bud now. But for the boiler room, yeah, it was a very interesting thing. There's some other stuff that you'll see that was changed. And on the aft still cold of Boiler Room 6, there's also some very interesting features that, the ash ejectors are going to be there. You'll be able to climb some catwalks up the ash ejectors into the ash ejector recess spaces. You'll see where the ash ejectors ended and ejected from the hull. And there's also an ash place and an ash hoist for Boiler Room 6 that you'll be able to go into and see. And you'll be able to see how the ash hoist worked and how the shaft worked for it, and what the motor looked like, and you'll get an idea of how that worked. And the ash hoist the ash place rather provides a second place to enter Boiler Room 6 through via a lavatory, and I'll just leave that at that. But there's more. There's a
You're already
coal.
spoiling them.
Yeah, I'm already spoiling them. There's a coal bunker. The bunkers around Boiler Room 6 you can access.
We saw it on fire earlier, didn't we?
No, don't tell me
Yeah.
that.
Oh, sorry.
You,
Bye.
you could see the bunkers on either end of Boiler Room 6, including the upper bunker, and that's always been a mystery as to what that looked like, because you never see it depicted correctly in anything. So this is going to be interesting for people, I think. The antechamber to Boiler Room 6 has more detail in it. That's also, that's been updated. You've seen that on Twitter probably by now. And the fireman's tunnel has been updated. You've also seen that. There's a pump in the ante room, and there's spiral stairs going up at the forward end of the fireman's tunnel. There, I also may or may not have accidentally made Boiler Room 5. All of it.
All of it. You've
Oh.
just implemented it all.
Yeah, the whole Boiler Room 5.
That's
Oh, that's new.
big.
Oh wait, did the team not know that? I forgot.
Wait, you didn't know that? Oh, wow, okay, I've been holding
No,
back a
no.
lot.
Maybe somebody else knows. I haven't looked at all of the.
No, neither have I.
Okay, yeah, wow.
Well, okay, yeah, which means that that fire picture in the bunker,
Yeah.
that wasn't a joke. That's actually in there.
Oh, right. Okay.
You can actually go and see where the coal fire was. That's going to be...
That's really
That's good.
awesome. Sorry,
Yeah.
someone keeps putting in the chat about have you implemented VR. I just want to say VR, correct me if I'm wrong, you can just use VR if you've got the right system and hook it up to your laptop with the demo, if I'm correct.
That is correct. People have
Yeah.
just pretty much just
Uh,
turned it on and made VR work. I haven't used my VR system in a very long time, so we had VR enthusiasts just plug and play and make it go. So yes, but we haven't optimized it for VR.
Yeah. So there's...
Oh, I want to thank Shane quickly for the super chat, and since he thanked us for keeping White Star in Olympic class alive by recreating Titanic, and everybody on this team has. So thank you, Shane, for that, and I'm gonna also say thanks to the team too for doing the same thing. So thanks, Shane. Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, by the way, that is when I say the bunker for the coal fire, like the part of the bunker for Boiler Room 5 is there, not the whole thing though. I'm not that crazy. So yeah, you'll get to kind of see the extent of that. That should stoke the conspiracy theories a little bit. No, not really. I hope.
Oh!
The intention of that is more to show, like, kind of what it would probably actually look like. I mean, I'm sure it's not 100% accurate, but like the position of the fire, and like it even shows there were reports, like the survivor reports from the like Barrett or whoever was there that survived, saying that there was like a little bit of a heat-induced ding in the watertight bulkhead where the fire was, because the heat kind of deformed it a little bit. It wasn't broken or anything. It was just a little bent, which I really don't think would have been enough at all to cause any kind of failure of the bulkhead. Because, especially once it cooled, it would have been fine. But, that ding is there. You can see that. And like, it's meant to give you an idea of what it would look like, and then it wasn't like a giant raging inferno throughout half the ship that caused a burn mark where the mailroom would be, like, that kind of thing.
I thought it was the pool. I always get that wrong when I yell at people in comments. Damn it. Okay, thanks.
It was under the pool partly.
Okay, so I was partly right. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but mainly like if you look in the photo in that photograph that's claimed to show the fire mark on the hull, like it's mainly around the post office area and the pool. So if that was actually caused by the fire, the mail workers wouldn't have had any mail to recover during the sinking. So they would have had much bigger things on their minds.
This
At
is
any rate,
yeah.
yeah. So yes, in terms of the demo 401 updates, yeah, those are some fun things, and that's not all. But I'm not going to get into further than that.
I was
So
about
I'm
to
gonna
ask,
save
are
that.
you done? Are you sure you're done, Kyle?
I'm done for
'Cause
now.
I know you're done. I know
I'm
you're
done.
not done, but okay. That's what. Yeah.
I am not done. I'm still holding back, even from the team at this point.
Yeah.
But
I know, but I will.
Matt knows. Matt knows.
I will wrap it up here.
Yes, I'm wrapping up my demo 401 update. So you'll find out later.
Thank you.
There was something that was mentioned. What was somebody?
It's cold up here.
Alexandru asked, "Will the forward BDEC corridor be available?" No, that's not going to be available. There are actually some technical issues that are stopping me from even attempting to open up like the forward B deck or the forward A deck areas or those stairs by the bridge. And it's the fact that the two, ironically enough, the two cabins that are open on A deck at the front, they're
Sorry, everybody.
through the various ways that things have been modeled over the years. Like I mentioned before, how stuff doesn't quite fit together. Those cabins are in the way of where the stairs down to B deck should be. And at the same time, the corridors obviously are unfinished.
You know how fast
on
it
B
would be,
deck.
you know how fast it would be for me to remodel out those rooms, though.
Don't do it.
Okay, bye.
Because that's not the only stuff that would probably have to be updated.
I know. It never got guys. Whenever it never is just one thing. Unfortunately, if it was just the one thing in the way, THG Alpha would be done by now. But yeah.
Yeah. So you're not really gonna get that. Another reason is just we really do want to save. If there's anything we want to save for the alpha, it's the friggin' the forward B deck, well deck, and forecastle. The forecastle is the one place you won't be able to go to directly. So
Yeah, you can do everything else with it, but you just can't go on it.
you basically. Yeah, no, we're not opening up. That's I can guarantee that's not happening in 401. But there's gonna be you'll find when you see the other stuff for 401, you'll hopefully be amazed. And I'll mention this. It's there. I mean, I'm being honest right now with everyone here. Is the fact that to a certain degree. It is kind of distracting me from alpha work, and I guess I kind of figured that because of the delays, it would be nice to offer something beyond. I mean, to offer something a little bit different from the usual THG fare and the usual, to sort of be like, it's been so long that. Here's something that is really cool that hopefully everyone will love, and because it's I don't know.
It's definitely different. I've seen what Kyle's not talking about, even though he is talking about it, and it's 100%. It's a total 180 from our usual. Like, here's a THG space. I don't know if that's giving away too much information, but yeah. It's not the engine room. It's not the engine room.
Here's a cabin. It's not the engine room. No, it's not the engine room. But it's not the. Oh, go on. It's just.
It's very refreshing.
It is
To see
refreshing.
those faces.
Yeah, it's not your usual. Here's another cabin. Here's another saloon. Here's another corridor.
I mean,
it's
there's nothing
something
wrong
where-
when Geo renders a cabin. I always go, wow, that's pretty when Geo renders a cabin. But yeah, but it's not the usual. It's also not the same parts of Titanic that we always see. That's what's
It's
cool
also
about it, too.
ironically like two of the coal bunker and another space that I'm not talking about. Like funny enough, I remember years ago in internal discussions, we discussed the idea of what if we just didn't make the coal bunkers? What if we just didn't really bother with making this other space? You know, they're technical, and
I feel like I was the
nobody really
person who said, like, you don't need to bother with those spaces, Kyle.
You probably were.
I think I was. I'm pretty confident I was the one who said, don't do coal bunkers. What are you talking about?
But you know, it's once we got iron plans of the ship and you got a lot of other reference material, and once you have this, it's actually shockingly easy to make. Like it's really easy to make the coal bunkers. They're not hard to understand. Well, at least not hard for me to understand. Oh, I'm so elitist. But they're very easy to make, and so is the other place that I made. Like really surprisingly easy.
This looks pretty here.
And the funny thing is, I also made it in like a week, and that's counting other stuff I did surrounding it. So, you know,
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm impressed more with the speed that was done with this more than, I mean, the quality looks good too, but the time that it took you to do it all, I'm like impressed, and it makes me feel good. Weirdly to say, like, for things to come in the future as we still work on crap.
Now I just need to snowball the alpha.
Yeah, I've watched you snowball before, so yeah, you snowballed in secret, which I'm very surprised about. So that's the thing.
It's easy for me because I never talk to anyone.
Yeah, that's true too. I just thought because I've been sick, I had no idea what was going on. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's stuff that we. Frankly, even we on the team thought it might be a long time before we ever saw it, and I really hope that all of you find it really cool, despite the delay after delay of the alpha. Like this, I don't know. It's I know we've said before, and I know James has been here on stream, and he's like, we're not doing anything else. We're not whatever. This is the end of 401.
He's not
This is
poop.
the end. Yeah. And you know, people said, well, he said this, and you guys said, and the thing about Demo 401 is that it kind of did grow into a life of its own. We initially, when it was starting to look like the alpha would be delayed, you know, it was like, you know, maybe we should release this because it's the least we can do after basically everything that's ever happened. The alpha is just a cherry on top of, or what's the opposite of a cherry? What's not good? I don't know. But
Avocado.
I don't like the cherry.
it's an avocado on top, sure.
Why?
Why
would you say this?
And yeah, so then we, you know, the alpha was delayed, and then so we decided to release 401. And,
It is not. It is not the steering gear room. A lot of people are guessing it's the steering gear room. It's not the steering gear room.
It is not the steering gear room. No.
Keep up your
not
guessing.
that
Is this
one.
ship wrong? Is this the wrong ship poster?
No, it probably is. I didn't really pay attention to these stupid posters.
Oh yeah, there's one wrong ship. In the
I have one
posters.
anachronistic poster, and I forget which one it is.
There's a Pinland, I believe.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't
was-
mean to cut you off, Kyle. I just was thinking.
It's not the engine room. It is not the engine room.
I don't want to change the subject, but just whilst it's still
Oh,
there, we have
it's-
got super chatting at the moment.
There she is. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I think it's this. Is it this one? Minnesota? Oh, I'll be damned. I'll be damned. That's not how you say your name. I'm sorry. I'll be damned. What's everyone's favorite story from the tragedy? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, I will mention this. Somebody mentioned the funnel uptake. This actually is part of the update. I forgot to mention. I was going to mention it earlier, and I forgot. But yeah, the funnel uptake is. You'll also be able to go in there in the 1.5 update. There's not much to see, at least the way it is here. But yeah, it'll give you an idea of what that space looked like.
Won't be as exciting as Adventure Out of Time.
Can we go up the funnel yet, Kyle? Can we go in funnel 4?
What's that?
Can we go in funnel
No,
4
you
yet?
can't. No, you can't go up funnel 4. That's
And I
not
don't
in there.
care. No. I'm very excited about being able to explore everything finally. But to answer Albinium's, I'm sorry if I messed up. Albidam.
It is.
Albidam.
Albidam's
Albidam.
question, and super chat, thank you. As everybody else is guessing what the area is, and we won't confirm anything. We won't confirm anything. Because Kyle likes a surprise. Hold up.
The middle propeller. It's had 4. It had,
We're putting tons of propellers on. They're all going to be gilded in gold.
It is nothing in the stern. I'll tell you that.
You're giving it just away. But yeah.
I had 10 propellers.
She can't have any more propellers. She needs tons of propellers. Albidam asks the question, "What's our?" And it is weird to ask, but like, what is your favorite story from the tragedy? Or what is your most probably a better way, not a better way to put it, but like I think
the story that sticks with you the most from the tragedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what affects you? And the one that just came to my mind right now because I happen to be in this room, is sorry. There's a quick story behind the story, but when I first learned about Titanic and I was watching the documentary from Death of a Dream, I think it was Don Lynch, possibly. He was telling the story of. I'm not sure who actually reported this in their testimony or whatever, but that a mother was playing the piano in the third class general room right here with their child on their lap, just trying to keep the child calm as the ship was sinking. And that's one that kind of sticks with me, because every once in a while I remember the stories as we're making these spaces, and then I go into a weird kind of emotional ramble about that on streams or when I'm being interviewed, and I sound ridiculous. But yeah, that's one of them. Is that indeed third class didn't have much of a chance because they weren't given one from the get-go, not because they were locked down below or kept behind gates, but just because of where they were located and the system that they were a part of. But this mother and their daughter or their son, I always envisioned it to be a daughter, but she was just trying to keep her calm as the ship is sinking around them by playing the piano, and it's almost as emotional to me as sorry to keep referencing the Cameron film more than anything else, but the scene where the Irish mother is trying to keep her 2 children calm by going to sleep in their bunk again and telling the nursery story of Tir na Nog or what have you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one gets to me a little bit. So yeah. But that's my story about it. I don't know if anyone else wants to tell one that really affects them as we walk along the poop deck here, which is very fitting for the disaster, which happens which happened 110 years ago in 4 days.
Jeez.
The story I always find interesting was Jack Sayers' story, because it was interesting because he was one of the youngest first class passengers, and okay, not one of the youngest, but he was a teen, I believe, and he made friendship with a totally stranger in the lounge, I believe, Milton Long was his name, and he only knew him for this evening, if I remember correct, and they stick on the Titanic till the end together, because Jack lost his family in the chaos, and that's very interesting how they managed to go off the ship and what they decided. Milton Long died because he got sucked down by the ship, it's believed, and Jack survived on lifeboat B. And yeah, I like the story because it's very interesting how fast you can make friendship with one person and never see the person again in only a few hours later. So yeah, I found this very interesting.
Yeah,
that story was interesting. It was Jack Thayer and Milton Long, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the interesting thing between them was that the difference in how they got off the ship was one of them jumped off the side, is my understanding,
Yeah, that
like
was
jumped
that was
the
Jack.
distance.
Jack, yeah.
Yeah, and Milton slid down the hall instead of jumping,
Were
and
they
that
they were on the
difference.
starboard side, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
near the second funnel, I believe.
Yeah, but this is like right by the final plunge, so the portless was kind of gone at that point. So, well, it was still. I don't. When it comes to the sinking, I keep thinking, because we like everyone's asking if our ship will sink, and I hope to get there one day, but we do keep track of like as many testimonies as we can, and we have a huge list of we have an Excel spreadsheet in our Google Drive of like testimonies of how the ship broke apart, etc., and where people were. Also, to hopefully one day, sorry, Kyle, to hopefully one day like create a new sinking animation and something. But yeah, and so I always have a vague recollection of how the ship actually sank versus our now defunct animation that we made like 5, 6, 7 years ago now. God, it's been so long. So I know that by the time Jack jumped off, I think the ship had already started the plunge, so the port list was somewhat resolved. So maybe, but Milton probably slid down the side of the ship, so because it was still listing the port slightly, so that's why he was going down the side of the hull, perhaps. But what made him not jump? If I was on a sinking ship, you put yourself in their shoes. You would think that you would want to jump off as far as possible, or did he just make a mistake that unfortunately cost him his life that night? He didn't. He tried to jump off perhaps, and he was unable to do it or something, or just a split second decision. Like if he jumped off a moment later with Jack, perhaps he could have survived. It's a tough.
It's also possible that maybe the method of getting off the ship had nothing to do with it. They just got separated after that, and one of them
Right.
was lucky enough to make it.
It's true.
Um,
There's all sorts
Another
of.
story. Oh, sorry, go on.
No. I was just gonna reiterate how terrifying and how much the how much of random chance you had that night as well.
Depending who you are, where you come from, your social background. I mean, the story I was going to come to, and you've just gone past their cabin, I think. But Isidore and Ida Strauss, someone mentioned in the chat earlier, just literally been together their whole lives, and then comes this one night. He says to his wife, "You get off the ship. I'll be fine." She turns to him and goes, "No, I've been with you all my life, Isidore. I'm not leaving you now." And so even when another passenger turned to him and went, "I'm sure the officers wouldn't mind you getting on a boat," he says to them, "No, I'm not getting off before any other man." And so they literally went down with the ship together. Just, it's the love between them. Obviously, it was beautiful. But yeah, you're just going up to the place now where they do the scene in the film. But it's beautiful, the love they had for one another, and the fact that they just wouldn't leave each other even in that most dire of situations. It's such a shame that only Isidore's body was recovered, and of course I just got that beautiful memorial in New York. But it's a story that always touches me, because even in the moment of such strife and horror and darkness, their love outshone everything going on, and in those final moments, at least, they were able to stay together until the very end.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they had to, and so many people had to be put into that situation. But in disaster and terrible situations, we look for people like that to somewhat comfort us, I think. And for every Isidore and Ida Strauss, there's probably dozens of stories we don't know still, which is just as sad. There's so many, not just third class, but second class passengers who went down with the ship who we don't even know their stories, really.
So you say second class, and straight away I don't think of many second class. The only one I can think of
Exactly.
is Lawrence Beasley, who obviously went down with lifeboat 13, and he survived obviously, but that was a whole drama in itself. But then if I try and think of any other second class, that's it. There's hardly anyone coming to mind. Um,
Roofbreaker I have in mind, but it is only other second class. Yeah.
Right.
oh no, there was also John Harper as well. He was
Yep.
yeah, that was a story and a half.
John Harper. There's the LaRoches were in second class. Winnie Couts was in second class. I think of people, I've heard, and I don't mean to, not to say anything bad about their stories, but I've heard of the same passengers throughout my time studying Titanic, and that's for a reason. But I want to change that. There's still so many so many untold. I mean, it's a cliche in itself. There's so many untold stories of Titanic, and we'll never know any. We'll never know so many of them. That's why
No.
that's why the story of Titanic will never die. Honestly, is because somehow, somewhere, we're going to hear about someone else's story. Um, Eventually, we'll hear, and it could not even be somebody who was on board Titanic. We might hear the story of someone who built Titanic in Belfast, and that'll be just as
Even
fascinating. Well,
even just going to Belfast and just
Right.
literally even just standing on the slipways, you get a sense of this ship. And just I don't know if anyone else. I know Matt, you've been to Belfast, and I'm not sure anyone else, but even just to stand on the spot where she was built and just to take in the scale of this ship is just. It gives you another insight into this. It makes you realize this ship was real. This thing really happened, and even though it was 110 years ago in the past, it makes it feel tangible, and that slight connection is just boggling to me. I was there back in October, and just
Yeah, you
I
went back
stood there
recently.
for a few minutes. Yeah, I went in. I went. My photo on Discord shows me on the Nomadic in my everybody's seaman outfit. But anyway, even just standing there and looking around, and it's incredible because you can't sometimes you can't even put into words and describe what the ship was like. I mean, obviously THG helps with that and it can show representation, but just the people and the ship I've got no words for it really because it's just it's beyond words. I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry about that.
No, it's
Slight
fine. Yeah,
tangent.
it's in. People are are putting in what they're saying in the chat, like who and there a lot of names are being mentioned, including some from second class, which is I was just there, which is nice to hear, too. Um, there's
Edith Rosenbaum Russell.
oh yeah,
Edith Rosenbaum.
from
Wasn't
first.
she?
She
Was the act.
I
No,
can't.
she had the pig.
She did have the pig. Yes, she
Yes.
had the pig, and I tried so hard to find that pig when I was in London, and I was upset to find out that it's behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But yeah, her I can't get into her cabin, but her cabin is over here. Heading that way now into the first class quarters in the deck. But yeah, so yeah. See, there's always so many stories to tell, and even though you might think you've heard them so many times, I believe her cabin is no. I think it's this one over here.
Someone just said it's A11.
Is it? It was, yeah, is it A? Yeah, I think this is. I think I'm in the correct little side corridor. I don't know. It could be the one forward, but yeah.
My pig. I must have my lucky pig.
There's there's so many people you can just name. There's Edith. There's Masabumi. There's so many other people.
It just pops into my head. Margaret Brown.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's the Six. There's so many people. And then there's also just other survivors. I saw someone earlier ask about the Goodwins. There's the Goodwin and the Sages and the Asplins, and there's these entire huge families in third class. Which that looks really pretty from right here. Sorry, I'm gonna actually admire the grand.
At the end of the day, we're all here for this game and this game to represent this ship. And of course, when it's finished, when we get there, it will be absolutely incredible. But of course, the thing we have to take into account and remember is all these people that were involved, not just the people on the ship, but the people involved in the building of it, the people involved in the rescue and disaster, the people involved decades later in rediscovering the ship. All these people have all these different stories with this ship, and that's what I'm glad brings us all together in this community. Because even though we're obviously waiting for this game, at least it still brings us together from all over the world, and we can all just remember and share these stories, and they can make us better people in ways in which we can learn from the past mistakes and look forwards to the future. There's Honor and Glory.
I'm only zooming in here because Ed just asked, is it true the clock had not been installed at the forward grand staircase on Titanic? And while indeed it might not have been installed when Titanic left Belfast, Titanic was sitting idle in Southampton for a week.
Yeah.
And during that week's time, the ship's interiors and some parts of the exteriors were finished and finalized. Signs were added to the exterior of the ship, like the notices to watch out for the propellers at the stern of the ship. That was one thing we noticed. Furniture was still arriving to Southampton from different parts of Europe even. The furniture that was for the B-deck special cabins, the Mutters and Zahn cabins, arrived directly to Southampton from The Hague. And so they had plenty of, excuse the pun, time to install a clock face where Honor and Glory was, especially because to install that paneling, all the wiring would have been installed ahead of time. And because Harlan Wolff was under a contract to deliver the ship finished for White Star, they would have made sure that everything was complete. So there's a good, to the as far as they possibly can. There are stories of water taps not being installed, and doors having to have their jams adjusted and planed. But there would have been sufficient manpower to complete one of the centerpieces of first class, which is that staircase on top.
Oh yes, actually, very interesting thing about the things that happened in Southampton. The shipbuilder Harlan and Wolff actually had a permanent, workshop
Yes,
in the
they did.
Southampton docks. So
They had yes,
would be done there.
The clocks were electric. They were
all wired to a main clock, wasn't it?
Main clock in the bridge, which I haven't gone yet, even though our bridge needs to be fixed. Thank you, Shane, again for another super chat. The game not only represents the ship, but also represents the ideas that White Star had with the Olympic class. We cannot thank the builders of the ships in the games for recreating them.
Very much echoing what I was saying.
Yes, when we recreate Titanic in 3D and 2D, or even in our minds, it's sorry, I thought I saw something wrong with the floor. Oh wait, I can't show you the clocks because they're in the chart room, and I can't get to the chart room. Never mind. Well, they're in the chart room. They're in the chart room. So yeah. I'm outside. I totally got lost. So I just lost my train of thought with what I was saying about the builders of Titanic. Yeah, it's it takes us a while to create everything you see here, and I think we want to get it as accurate as possible, and one of the reasons why is or Borealis? No, it's just a galaxy. Is for the sake of honoring those who designed the ship. We don't want to just recreate something that's. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom again. We don't want to just recreate something that's we call Titanic, and it does not resemble this ship that these people designed and constructed 100 years ago. It would be considered a disrespect to them, especially when some of them, one of the designers gave his life for the ship essentially and the people on board. So that's one of the reasons why we're not going to just say, like, here you go. It's the end of the day. It's just
This could have
finished.
finished a
Good
long
enough.
time ago if you did that.
Yeah.
We could have just turned around and gone, okay, we've got as far. Enjoy. Bye, everyone.
You know,
But
not to mention the fact that we can gloat and say it's the most accurate thing about Titanic there is too. There's that as well. But there's numerous reasons why we want to make sure it's accurate. There's a lot of questions happening, but I really need to be right back again, because I've been trying to drink water every time to make sure my voice doesn't crack. So I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. Someone get Kyle to talk more about 1.5.
good evening, everyone. And today we're here again to talk to Kyle Hudak about his new updates for demo version 1.5. Kyle, welcome if you are online.
No.
Hello. Oh no, Kyle's not online. Thank you for joining us for an evening with Kyle Hudak.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say about 1.5 without spoiling it.
No, we don't want to spoil it. Kyle, can you tell us what color will the sea be?
Purple.
There we go. There is a genuine exclusive from Kyle Hudak there. Right. How should I think of the... Someone please say something, please.
I'm trying to think of things I could still talk about with 1.5. I mean, there was a point I was trying to get to earlier, and then I got distracted by my own thoughts.
Well, don't spoil it, but if you can give us
it was just the fact that we've said repeatedly that we wouldn't do more for demo 401, and I guess a big part of why we have done it more is it just kind of became bigger in general. Like it kind of became this little thing that because things sort of piled on with the issues with the alpha development that it's, especially for me personally, it kind of became this thing where demo 401 has kind of breathed new life into things in certain ways, especially in me. And it's been very exciting to kind of revisit some of these areas and visit a few new areas that would otherwise take a longer to get to in the alpha proper. And it's just something new to do. And in 401 itself, we could have released it after Christmas, and that would have been it.
It just wasn't quite ready though yet, was it?
Yeah, I mean, we could be working on the alpha, but right now, like full force, I could be doing my block out already and everything. But then 401 would be floating out there, and there just wouldn't be anything much special to say about it. And I feel like a lot of cool things have been done with it. You'll see more for 1.5, and even in the future, like when I'm done with my 1.5 update and I'm working on the alpha, Derek is still going to he's still going to have to wait on the art side of the alpha, so he'll still have time after this even to continue working on it a bit, which he'll have to do even after I finish my part at minimum. And so he'll still be able to work on a few things too, and there are some things we can't do for it. Like, I don't think it's really going to be super optimized. That would require remodeling a lot of stuff or heavily adjusting a lot of things. And that's what we're doing for the alpha. We're not doing this. We're not going that crazy for demo 401. We're not doing that. Demo 401 in that sense is offered pretty much as is. But a lot of these smaller things, like adding these few spaces and adding sound effects or music or something, stuff that was missing generally from the first versions. We figure that this is just a way to. Demo 401 is so special that I don't think it should just be left out there without some kind of attention, because it is in a sense its own product, which which is free at this point, and and I don't know, it's definitely a whole thing. It just had a life of its own, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Some people might see that as breaking a promise or something, but that's what else is new, and people say a lot of things. Um, but it really is just you look at this and you can't just leave it alone.
No.
And I don't know. It's like I said, it's something that's
Britannic wants
helped.
to have a word with you.
Titanic. What? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
The ship wants to the word.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. People talk about Potem as well. That's that's a different thing. I mean, it's. I'm not getting into that one, but as far as 401 is concerned, yeah, I mean there are limitations on what can be done with it, but still, which is why the alpha is going to be very important.
Those are very
For,
hot.
for those people asking earlier about Plymouth Harbour, there it is on the wall.
There's a super chat here from John Morgan. Where would have the ship's manifest been kept?
On the bridge, wasn't it? No. I don't know. There's Plymouth Harbour.
Well, the ship's
Apparently.
manifest survived. Technically, the cargo manifest. We have records of it.
Yeah. Well, the cargo or passenger?
Oh, it's a good. Yeah,
let's.
I mean, like well, we have records. There's multiple copies of these records. So.
Well, some of them would have been kept on land, so it wouldn't have disappeared. Obviously, the ones that went with the ship most likely did end up at the bottom of the ocean, the same as the ship's log. But yeah, depending on what manifest you mean, there's multiple manifests.
Yeah, the passengers manifest. The main one with all that information about passengers would be in the purser's office and inquiry office on C deck. Depending on which inquiry, which class you are a part of. I mean, you'd have a complete full list probably in the first class one as well, of all passengers that they have.
If I remember rightly, there was a time in which first class passengers used to be given a literal passenger list of everyone on board the ship, just so you could see who you were travelling with. And that was eventually stopped when people realised, oh wait, what if I don't want to be tracked on this ship? I don't want other people to know I'm on here. So of course people would give their aliases.
They have to use
and
a
such, but
pseudonym,
eventually it was
right?
just
A nom de
Yeah.
plume.
So I'm trying to think that there was somebody on Titanic who did that, but there's the obvious of the Frenchman who kidnapped his two sons, but that's a different story entirely. There was somebody, but I can't remember exactly who on Titanic.
Somebody mentioned the Herbert Cave list. My understanding is that wasn't so much like a passenger list as it was a list of the people under his particular charge in his section. When that had been it?
Like that was a list of all passengers.
Was it?
Yeah, it was because it gave a list of all first class passengers, and I think it was just like a steward's list to list where everybody was located, and he basically marked off where his section was. So stewards are given their own list of passengers as well.
So Cave took it upon himself to mark who was where and what cabin in his section.
I believe that's what he did with it. But yeah, like the stewards were given a list of passengers to know what who they would have in their section, because stewards shared a section. They didn't have the section 24 hours of a day, obviously. So they would have a certain group of cabins, and they would have the keys to that cabin and take care of that cabin. And then at night, the night steward or the night watchman would come on.
Gentlemen, not that I want to wrap up the stream entirely, but we have been going for the past nearly 3 hours, and I believe you still have one more question to ask Mr. De Winkler.
I do have one more question. And this one's going to be tough because I'm not going to. This one's going to.
Piece of.
Yes, this final question is I called the first. We did a third class giveaway. And there's that's a, and it's not to belittle the any of the first or second class compared to the first one, but we had a third class giveaway, which was a
Lovely
THG
coaster.
Coaster. We had a second class giveaway.
Hold on, sorry, no, we have to stop there. What did you say? A coaster? A coaster? What's a coaster?
No, that was just a lag in my internet, so it sounded like I
Was
said
it?
said something weird. We had a THG coaster.
Thank you.
And we had a THJ deck plan poster. Oh, there's a theme. And now we're gonna have a piece of Titanic's sister ship, Olympic. We're gonna have woodwork from the Olympic. I'm not gonna show you what the woodwork is ahead of time because that's gonna be part of the question.
That's not fair.
Yeah, that's gonna be part of the question.
Oh wait, I've seen it, so I can't say anything.
Yeah, I sent a picture of it in
You deleted
Discord. Yeah, because I'm gonna show it after the fact. Now,
it though.
to get the piece of Olympic, the woodwork, you have to manifest the woodwork to you. I know where the woodwork was. I think I'm pretty confident I know where this woodwork is on Titanic/Olympic. So what you guys have to do when I see this is to be total luck to get this. I want it to be totally fair luck. So everyone has a chance. You don't have to know tons of knowledge about Titanic. You just have to be able to guess first. It's going to be difficult. So you have to guess where this wood was on Olympic. So when I can see what piece of wood this was on Olympic first. So if you say like Grand Staircase bulkhead, that could work. When I see it first, I will give it out. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I've seen it already. It's happened already.
You're joking.
Technically, it's already happened.
They haven't even seen it, and they know.
Yeah, it's. I mean, technically, it was like one of the very first responses. I'm gonna go with.
You have to say like which part of the wall it would be, or
Well, that
frame,
would be.
whatever.
It was in C32. Congratulate. No.
It wasn't in C32, but yeah, no, it was. Because I don't know which. This is how I'm gonna go to where I'm gonna go to what it was.
Oh, thank you, Jill.
Where's the photo itself? I haven't seen it.
Oh, I'll show it in a second. As soon as I'm gonna options. I'm going to quit to main menu. Are you sure? Oh, I'm sure. Yes. Blah blah blah. We haven't finished anything. So
Goodbye, demo.
this piece of wood, which I will show in first the game, and then I will show in real life a picture of it, which I have in front of me. I first got it a couple years back. I purchased it, and the reason why I'm trying to give this stuff away is because I only purchased it because I wanted to be able to measure the wood and be able to recreate it in the game. But then I saw the wood again in a shed in England, of all places.
Wait, is this that shed of the guy who's literally created a part of the ship in his shed?
Yes, he created this wood in his shed.
That's all I do. Oh, I'm so jealous of that guy.
And it's been recreated somewhat faithfully here in the first class corridors. That's where he had it, and that's where I have it too.
Oh.
And so I saw right away from Mr. Gage, first class corridor timber, and I will admit that that's pretty generalized. However, it is first class corridor timber because my ability to describe this is poor, and I thought this was going to be a really random way to give it out. But I wanted it to be a fair, random contest. So let me show you what it looks like in real life. But yeah, Mr. Gage, I'm going to say that you got it, and don't worry for anyone else who's upset by my randomness of giving this away. I plan on giving away more um, Olympic wood later on during our streams. I believe this is it. Here it is. So this is the piece of
We
Olympic
can't
wood.
see it. Yeah, hold on.
You'll see it in a second. Don't worry. But yeah, it's one of the first class corridors. That's why I can't say for certain if it's B deck, C deck, but it's a piece of first class woodwork from a corridor. That much I know. So yeah, it's about the size. It fits in the palm of your hand, and it's got a couple layers of paint, and I've measured it to death. So I do not have a need for it any longer. And yeah, Mr. Gage, congratulations. I'll be sending it your way. It's a nice little piece. It does not say 400 on the back, nor does it say 401, so we don't know if the ship were switched with this piece of wood. However, it's yeah, you'll be able to compare this little piece with this tiny piece of wall skirting in the corridor. So yeah, this is what we get this wood for when we go to measure things, and when I purchase bits on eBay and all sorts of places, is I purchase it to measure it, and then it just sits forever. And I don't want to have it always, and so I've always been wondering what I'm going to do with it after the fact. After it's been the profile of the woodwork has been properly recorded, after I've been able to somewhat identify where it would go in the ship, or where I think it would go in the ship, based on other woodwork I've documented throughout my Olympic class travels, etc. And so I've contemplated reselling it. I've contemplated just giving it away. So I'm going to give away at least, I think, one other piece this week of Olympic wood. So yeah, in this first one for Mr. Gage. So yes. Yeah, I'm sure that this paint is a little, whatever you do, don't eat or lick this woodwork.
No,
Because,
God, no, don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah, there's probably several layers of old lead paint on it. So when I mail it, I'm not gonna cross off the thing on the mail saying this is hazardous and it contains lead paint. So because then I won't be able to mail it. So indeed, it is covered with layers of additional paint, which suggests it was from the
Hawk whistle.
the Hawk whistle. I always forget the name of the actual paint company in
Paint
Hawk whistle.
factory, yeah.
Yes, but yeah, it's a neat little piece, and I believe it.
Would it be lead paint? I mean, in the spec on the spec book on Titanic or no on Britannic,
I'm not
there's a lot of
taking a
mention
chance.
of non-poisonous paints. Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't that
yeah.
be non-lead paint?
Yeah, but
True,
don't forget.
they make specifically. Well, yeah. What's non? Well, I have so many pieces of these woods that have paint on them. I could always take off a small chip and send it into one of those companies that test for lead paint. Or isn't there like a little device I can just buy at like Home Depot or Lowe's, which is a store in the United States where you can just buy home improvement stuff that tests for lead paint, I believe.
B&Q from the UK, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that there is stuff like that out there.
So I could probably just do that if I really wanted to know.
I've got a piece of Olympic wood here myself. I'm tempted to go lick it now.
No, don't lick it.
I do. I want to lick it so bad.
But listen.
Actually, just quickly looked up like the specification book, and it looks like it's indeed poisonous paint that was
Ooh.
in the corridors. So
Now I either lick
Oh,
lead paint or I drink Titanic whiskey. Which one do I do? No.
Yeah,
Oh boy!
I don't
Listen, for decades, for the better part of a century, we had lead everywhere in the air. We just breathed it in all the time, so it's fine. I'm sure it's
We were
fine.
surrounded by asbestos for ages, so we're all right.
A lot of my older relatives are dead, Kyle.
Wow, I wonder why that happened.
Oh, well, that's true too. But yeah, so Yeah, I should get the. Yeah, but yeah, don't. I wouldn't suggest. Why would you want to? Why would you want to eat Olympic wood
Look, who
or
doesn't,
paint?
who
Tasty.
doesn't want to lick everything that they come into contact with?
I want to lick everything I've come into contact with.
What is happening?
I think we've all gone quite tired.
I just want to. I just want to get to the back of the ship in daylight because it looks pretty.
I've got a girlfriend who's judging me here in the court over here.
I will lick the Titanic wood. I will lick the Olympic wood. I will lick the Lusitania.
Lick the rust, Kyle.
That's,
I do.
yeah.
Neither
also
myself
got a
nor
tile here.
THG nor VDR LOC endorses any of the messages you're hearing about licking.
I've got a tile
artifacts.
here. I've got half of a bath or pool tile here from. It's not from Olympic. It's the same type. It's the same tile that was used though, and it came from a bathroom in a Holland and Wolf office. I'm gonna lick it.
Yes! Do it, Kyle. Do it
Oh,
for the stream.
God,
No,
Mr.
no,
Gage
no,
says
I'm
he's
not
gonna lick the
gonna- I'm
wood
not
now.
gonna-
I don't know. I think I'm going to seal the wood in like polyurethane something, but prevent. No, I don't. Just kidding. Kyle, Kyle's gonna have his own licking stream later on in the week.
I'm not.
everybody.
I'm not licking. I'm not licking anything. I'm just. Nothing's getting licked.
Yeah, what is going on? So
I
yeah,
don't know what's happening.
it's the 110th anniversary of the maiden voyage of Titanic, and
We're all licking things.
no, we're not licking anything. This is how you
I'm
catch
sorry.
COVID.
I'm sorry.
Oh, this looks just like the movie scene. This is kind of neat now. But yeah,
It's nice.
but
Oh,
indeed,
don't worry me, lad. You'll be having angels flying out your ass. No.
Irish people, am I right? Poop
I
deck.
thought-
You know why it's called poop? It's because it's French.
that is why I thought it was a Latin term. That should have been a question I used instead of just randomly giving things away by saying manifest
Where
where the
was
wood
this?
was. Yeah, it's like why is the poop deck called the poop deck?
That's an easy one, though. I mean, I think more people than you think would. No, most people don't know anything.
No, I would have gone for the very obvious, which is you go there to go and do your business.
I mean, the idea of people going down there to walk dogs it doesn't make any sense because the kennels are like way up on the boat deck. So like, how are you gonna get them down there?
Yeah, I know dogs that don't like to walk downstairs, so
No, dogs who don't like
Probably-
water.
So when you think about it, really, the dogs would have just pooped all over the second class, the smoke room, the first class smoke room roof.
Yeah, pretty much.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, the sec-
Let's get this all out now before we start talking about poop and licking things on the sinking anniversary stream.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a bad combination.
Yeah,
Lick?
get 2 hours in. I want to lick the Titanic.
Who's licking that iceberg? So yeah.
oh boy, Man,
Oh.
that's.
Have
Ooh.
you tried the new popsicle flavor? It's ice. Oh no, I can't. No.
Yeah. Perhaps
Signs,
start wrapping
red or
up.
black?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
By the
I'll,
way, I do want to mention that none of you are trapped here. If you need to go, you can go. I
that's
mean,
okay.
it's
I'm
me
gonna
and-
I'm gonna wrap this up in 3 minutes to be at the.
Uh-oh.
I've got a girlfriend who's going to kill me if I don't go in a minute. So there we are.
Here we are. Okay. Well, thanks Ben for all the wonderful stories and just joining us to this evening here aboard Titanic. Sorry that
My pleasure.
sorry that it got into this kind of that it became what it did at the end. That's all I'm gonna say.
It was so nice up until we started talking about licking paint.
Yeah.
No, it's been lovely to come on, and hopefully I'll come on again at some point soon.
Thanks.
Well, look, I'll just leave you all with this, which is that what I mentioned in 401 1.5. I mean that those are kind of the biggest areas by volume and floor space, but in terms of like the list of areas, that's not the half of it. So, or maybe it is the half of it. I don't know, but yeah, you'll have some fun stuff to look forward to. That's it from me.
Some fun stuff. Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate all your work to make the fun stuff happen. What's streaming? That's a good question I should talk about before we continue. What's streaming this week? The team is going to discuss some more things tomorrow morning probably, because it's kind of up in the air actually. But there's definitely a stream happening on to commemorate the sinking, of course, this year. So there's going to be a stream starting around that's a weird little glitch, the evening of on the 14th, Titanic time / New York time. So we'll announce that in a day or so when that's happening. I'd like to hold, but I don't know what it will be about yet. Another stream in 2 days' time, so that we have a total of 3 streams, and we'll stagger them. Um, on Tuesday, ooh, pretty sky, but I gotta figure out what that's gonna be about yet. So I'm gonna discuss that with the rest of the team tomorrow morning, and there should be some Patreon exclusive streams coming up as well, but I'm going to discuss that again with the team just to talk about. And there's probably going to be like what I mentioned in the beginning, which is a streaming of the movie Titanic, more than likely, and probably in our Discord, and just chatting about it in Discord itself over text as we're watching the movie, kind of like a watch party of Titanic. And then there will be another Patreon stream where we just have a general chat like we did once in a while. We've got to see who'll be available for there, because our creative director and community manager, who handles these things much better than I and most of us, is out at sea on his real life job, and that is he's got a gig right now on a cruise ship as a performer in one of the ship's shows. So he is out on the ocean somewhere. I don't know where. I think the Atlantic. I'm pretty sure it's the Atlantic, honestly. Somewhere in the Atlantic, sailing during Titanic week. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Not like this. Not as cool as this. There's nothing as cool as wandering around the deck of 401 during Titanic week. But yeah, that's what we got coming up. So yeah, the big one will be on Thursday. Wait, Thursday? Yes, in 4 days. 4 days time. So yeah, join us for. Oops, I hit a wrong button. Join us then if you want to. It'll be in the evening. Remember, Titanic sank at like I forget what time. It started sinking at like not. No, it sank at. Yeah, it hit the iceberg around 9:30 ish, I think, New York time. So take that as you will. Well, announce, the time has always been up in the air, it seems, but they've got it down pretty exact now. So we'll announce when that is. So yeah, Titanic time is difficult, so we'll announce that. So, but yeah, that will be the end of this stream to commemorate the 110th anniversary of the maiden voyage of Titanic. Right now, I believe she's probably left Cherbourg by now.
Yeah, she already,
Oh,
she had 2 hours ago,
oh
two
yeah,
and a
okay.
half.
Yeah, so it's Titanic right now, 110 years ago. Passengers are probably finishing their meal, certainly, as well, in first class, and they're heading towards Ireland to get to Queenstown for their last port of call. So that's what will happen tomorrow on the 11th of April. So yeah, thanks everybody for staying tuned with us, for talking about Titanic for a bit. Congratulations to the 3 winners of our random giveaways. There will be other giveaways on the other streams. I don't know if there'll be 3, but there'll be a couple. I don't know if there'll be 3 every stream, but we'll try to have a couple. And yeah, if you want to see us again, make sure to check our Facebook out for announcements, and that's where you'll get the most recent one for the upcoming stream, if there is one on Tuesday. If not, there will be one definitely on Thursday in the evening, New York time, Eastern time. We will be going off of Titanic time, which is its own time zone. But yeah, if anyone wants to wrap it up and say goodbye, I know Ben said goodbye because Ben has to go or he's going to get in trouble. But anyone else want to say goodbye? Kyle said his last words. I want to thank the researchers who are here for being here and giving their wonderful input as always.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, nice to
It-
be here.
Yes,
Thanks.
it was great to be here. Yeah.
And for people in Europe, have a good night. I'm going
Yep.
to sleep right now.
Yeah, it's rather late over there, and a lot of our researchers are in Europe, so let's let them sleep. They have a long week of listening to Titanic ahead of them, like all of us do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, you all have a great night, a great evening,
But
a
while I
great
leave this on.
day.
Yes, everyone have a wonderful week. Just I guess remember Titanic during your week a little bit. All right. We will all see you guys later. Don't lick anything. All right. Goodbye.